¿Listo, señor?
Yeah, I'm good, man.
All right. Well, let's do this.
All right, brother.
Señor Erik Carrasco,
Yeah, Erik Carrasco, man.
thank you so much, señor, for agreeing to talk to me today. We've been planning this for a very long time.
Yeah.
Several months, if I remember
Probably
correctly.
about a year, man.
About a year for us?
Yeah, I was looking at a text message this morning that you had sent me September 2nd. And, well, my situation happened about 2 weeks before that. And I remember either having some form of conversation with you or, through mutual friends that we have about, linking up. And obviously, you and I have a relationship. So I know you've had a lot of people on here, a lot of prominent El Pasoans, right? And so I pulled that card that a lot of El Pasoans do, right? I know that guy. So I said, I got a message, man, and I need to get this message out as quickly as possible to the most people that I could. And, that's the reason why I reached out to you, man.
Senor, that's awesome, and I'm very excited about this because as you told me, you do like to watch episodes that I record.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm a lot into kind of like mindset, kind of like why people change or why a lot of people we all have stories, right?
Yeah,
Yourself, myself, but then we don't think as far as what was the story what was the, now we see the consequence, but we don't see the actions a lot of times, or we don't talk about it, or maybe we don't give ourselves credit, or we don't even see what happened that now we are the way we are, right? So when I was planning this conversation, this is it's going to be such a great story, not only to hear it, but I know that a lot of people are going to benefit. So that's why I'm very excited about this, Erik.
I hope so too, man. I really do. And I'll tell you, the story piece for a while, I struggled with that. I didn't know if I was going to be, tell my story. But I knew that at the end of the day, the outcome that I'm looking for was what was important, man. So, I mean, I can tell you bits and pieces of the story, but I think, the gist of what I want to get out there is there are consequences. You use that word, and I think you hit it right on the head, man. There's consequences to our actions, man, and my consequences almost cost me my life, man.
Nice. We're definitely going to talk about all this.
Yeah,
Senor,
sure.
Let's go ahead and start for the people that don't know who you are. Give us a quick intro of who Erik Carrasco is, por favor.
Yeah, Erik Carrasco, born and raised in Canutillo. I don't know if you've had a person from Canutillo on here. But like the kids would say, no cap, man. I'm an alcoholic. This is the face of an alcoholic. This is who I am. I identify as one, even though I don't drink anymore. I haven't drank for a year. I'm one day away, or one bad day, or I don't know. I can tell you stories of how I'm almost slipped up on accident, man.
What do you mean by that?
I've been you got to think I had a relationship with alcohol for such a long time, man.
How long are we talking about?
Probably about 20 years, man. No, more than that, 22. I started when I was 16. I know you've had a couple of guests that talked about the Juarez scene. I was in that scene since I was like 15, man. And it was cool. But a lot of the stuff started in high school. And I've always been the one, let's get the party going, or whatever the case might be. And I don't know if it was just to be the center of attention, or it was just something I liked doing. But that game became a game that really, really got dangerous at the peak or the height of my drinking.
If this happened 20 years ago, right, I'm sure that maybe as most of us start drinking, experimenting with alcohol, with drinks, right? Mm-hmm. How far in the 20 years you saw, this might be a problem? Because this is one thing when you're 17, 18, 19, even 20 or even older, that of course we all have stories that maybe I shouldn't have done that with that. Mm-hmm. But what I'm thinking is that there has to be something that happened that okay, I might have an issue. And then after that, of course, it's very different to kind of overcome or just solve that problem. But do you remember that, those early stages of you knowing that there was something that it's not normal?
I had a lot of blackouts since my teen years. There's a lot of situations, man, that, when I was in college, I would wake up and I'd be like, how'd I get here? And I think that's when I started to think it was a problem. But as my life kind of went on, just like with any problem, I had also success. And I think the success was coming at me so fast that I think it just became a thing where I could juggle it. Like I could do the drinking, do the family life like I thought I was, and then, do my work life. But when it really became a problem, I remember one time my ex-wife asked me to go to a birthday party. And we're talking about like a Peter Piper party. And the first question I asked is there going to be alcohol? And she said, really? Like, that's what's important to you? And I said, I'm not going. And that's when I started to realize, man, when I was starting to put my family or my addiction before my family, that's when I started to realize, like, is it really worth it? But then I also started to notice that alcohol became a coping mechanism for a lot of the stress that I had. So it was benefiting me in a way. And we'll talk a little bit about this hopefully, but, it was benefiting me in the sense that, like, I would have a bad day, I would drink, and I'd be cool. Like, it would relax me, and we'd go on and we'd do new things. But once my schedule started changing and, like, my drinking habits started to change a little bit, that's when I got really scared. I did seek help. I used a lot of the resources that I had at my disposal. But, this disease it plays tricks on you, man. It lets you think that you're in control of something when you're not, man. And, for a long time, I thought I had my stuff together, and I didn't. And I remember there's these things you can take online, like little polls or a survey. And it's like, are you an alcoholic? And you'd be surprised how easy it is to be an alcoholic. Like, it doesn't take much. Like, I think one of the characteristics is, like, do you drink more than twice a week? Or something like that. And I was like, damn. But then I had a different perspective of what an alcoholic was. Like, I had seen alcoholics, like bums or like people that I knew didn't have their life together. And I was saying, well, I'm not like that. And I noticed that a lot still with people that I associate myself with when they talk about alcohol. They always have a Mississippi. Do you know what that is?
No, no, tell me.
So there's this story, I don't know where I heard it. It was a movie, man. And it was about this guy. And he tells this other guy, you're my Mississippi. And he tells him, why do you call me that? And he said, because without you, Arkansas would be the worst state. Meaning that he always had somebody that he could compare himself to that was worse than him. And everybody has their Mississippi, man. Yeah. I have my Mississippi. You have your Mississippi. Everybody has theirs. And I think that when you're going through stuff, as long as you're looking at that person and they're doing a little worse than you, then you're good. And I saw a lot of the people that I was around, and I was drinking, but like I was doing well. So I was like, fuck it, I'm good.
I'm still good. And at the same time, because it happens to me, right? As far as like, well, this is normal, right? Because like having 2-3 drinks per night. Well, I'm not saying on a daily basis, but like this is normal. But then if like going back to those tests, because that is something that I have talked about. That I mean, it's really simple to be kind of like, even when you weight yourself and then you put it on like online, you look up online your weight, you're like, I'm obese, but I don't seem obese. It's kind of like the same thing that if I have a couple drinks or maybe 4 drinks once a week, ya con eso you're an alcoholic. So that's why you don't believe those tests, but in reality, it is true.
Yeah, it is true. It talks about like, do you drink before X time? Which I did.
Let's give some context as far as, because I'm very curious, like, what does it mean, like, to drink? Is it like more than 5? When
to me,
like, what was your normal drinking back in the day?
Normal day for me. So I would go to a bar at 6:45. They open
PM.
AM.
AM.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And they would open at about 7. The day before, I always made sure that I had like 3 tall boys. I would wake up at 5. I'd shower. I'd drink a tall boy in the shower. I'd be at the bar by 6:45. They'd probably open sometimes. I'd wait 7, like, just what's going on, man? Like, where's the bartender? Like, being the manager, like I need my drinks now, and then I would go to work. And
After that, like you had a couple drinks and then you go back to work.
yeah, and then I would finish my work day, and I'd slam about another 4 or 5, man. And
Was this on a daily basis?
On a daily basis, bro. That was, you know, I mean, I'm a bar fly, man. There's a lot of bars that you probably, I don't know, man. I don't want to say I'm all that in a bag of chips, bro. But, like, somebody's going to recognize me probably, bro, and say, like, I've seen that guy at the bar. That's where I would hang out, man. That's where I still hang out. I still go to bars, man. And, I mean, I see your face.
So, yeah,
but
I'm like, should I have asked this before? Because to me, I'm like, no, pues I was drinking every day 4 or 5 drinks. Y tú me dices this the morning. Like, okay.
Yeah, that's when I was going hard, though,
Of
bro.
course.
That's when I said, you know, FTW, bro. Before that, we would be at functions. You know, we would go out of town for work and stuff. And, like, I noticed that I would drink different than other people would. Like, I just would.
Senor, we're going to go back to this, but I need to explain. Like, right now I'm drinking a Michelob Ultra. Though this is my second one. And it doesn't bother you. We talked about this. We have gone golfing before when we're drinking. I'm like, you still go to bars right now? And again, I'm like, but I mean, like, is that a bad thing? How are you able to cope with that? And how is that possible? Explain to me. Because I'm sure that maybe somebody watching like, este vato, he's even drinking right now.
Yeah, no,
How can you do that?
So let me kind of bring it back. You had a fee shot right now. I don't know where it went. Pero I see things like I'm looking at your beer and I know I still have a relationship with it. But it's like seeing your ex-girlfriend and knowing like it's over. But she's still hot, bro. Like I'm looking at her right now. Like she's looking all right, bro. You know? But I know that I can't touch it.
But how can you put yourself in a situation that, for example, when you go to bars, right, to just chat with friends, that, hey, your ex is there, for example?
Yeah, I get that piece, and I think that's the piece that I'm trying to get away from, man. I'm trying to say that it is what it is. But here's the thing, man. Like, okay, maybe the ex was a bad example, but let's say a good close relative, bro. Like, I didn't ever want my disease to be your disease, meaning that because I don't drink, I never wanted that to be like, well, you're disrespecting me if you're drinking, because I own that. Like, I did that to myself. You had nothing to do with it. You can control your drinking, maybe, I don't know. But at the end of the day, you're making that decision, man. And I'm making the decision not to drink. And I'll tell you a little bit of a story on how serious I am. So my father passed away when I was 2 years old, man. He died of a drug overdose. And I made a decision when I was like 6 years old that I was never going to touch certain substances, man. Cocaine being one of them. And I've never done that. And I can tell you that I'm never going to say that I don't drink, but I will never, like, I see it the same way. Like, I know that I can be around, you know, certain drugs, and I'm not going to be tempted to do them. And so I feel the same way about beer. But what I'm learning is that I shouldn't be putting myself in those situations regardless. You know, I'm a father. You know, I'm still somebody that I feel, you know, is seen in a positive context. And I think there's a lot of, you know, I'm not judging anybody, but there are a lot of assumptions that people make of people that have certain diseases, man. And I think, you know, this being one of them. And so, you know, I associate as an alcoholic, man, but it's just not for me. But to answer your question, I think I'm looking for something that came after, because it's just not the disease, bro. Me stopping drinking, it doesn't end there. It didn't end there for me. There's a precursor to that I think people aren't aware of, man. You get really sick when you stop drinking, bro. You get the shakes, man. You get a lot of stuff. There's a lot of baggage that comes with that, to where you get to the point where, like, what? I mean, just give me a beer and I'll be all right, man. I'll be able to go on through my day. And I think I was so sick that I went through that I didn't have to deal with that, but I've dealt with it, man. I've been sick, like in a room, like shaking, bro, and like the room's spinning and you have to go to work.
Was all this before your transplant, meaning that you did try to quit?
Yes. Yeah.
Prior several times.
Yeah, but it was
Do
hard.
you remember how many times you gave it a very serious attempt to stop drinking?
About 4 times, man. The longest I ever went was 3 months.
What happened? What made you relapse those times? I mean, I'm sure there's more than one reason, but thinking back, like, what was the thing that was missing that now you have to? Of course, we'll talk about your disease, your transplant, and everything outside of the transplant. But I want to know if there was like a common denominator every time you started drinking again, or you know what, it's just different. Was it different every time?
I think hearing it from multiple people that have been in similar shoes that I have, man, we make excuses, man. And I think for myself, it was just like, okay, I figured out a new way to like drink. Like instead, I'm gonna drink like mini ultras. I don't know. I'm just giving you a weird example. Like I'm just gonna go to the bar and I'm gonna have 2 ultras and water. Or like I created this new method where, you know, I'll drink 1 beer and 2 waters after that. I'm gonna be cool, right? But you forget that 1 water and then it becomes 2 beers and 1 water and then you're just back to where you started, man. And like I've heard even more. Like I've seen, and like I said, going back to my Mississippi, like I've seen certain Mississippis that I have in my life, and they're like, I tried it like 30 times, and I'm like, damn, I didn't even think of that. Like you would be very, very shocked on how people try to convince themselves that they don't have a problem, man.
No, and I don't know if because of this conversations I've had, meaning this podcast or just my real life, but the same thing applies with everything, right? Right now we're talking about, of course, alcohol, but the same thing applies to work, to life, to relationships, to everything, right?
Yeah.
Before I move on, I want to ask you this. As far as right now, we're gonna go back to your transplant and a lot of different things, but are you right now afraid of maybe relapsing? No. Like, does it scare you that, oh, Sasuke, maybe today's not the day, or no?
No, I'm scared of the things that my alcoholism was covering up. I think there were a lot of emotions, both. I think one thing you'll find with a lot of people that are addicted to drugs or alcohol is that there's some form of trauma, in my opinion, that they had in their childhood or maybe in their adulthood, man, that caused them. And see, that stuff doesn't go away. You just get sober enough to start realizing like, oh, damn, like, okay, that was messed up on my part. You know, one of the 12 steps, I think it's the 8th step, is that you and it's weird, like I learned this year. So the month of August is the 8th month, so you focus on the 8th step. So each month, there's 12 steps, there's 12, months, obviously. So each month, will have its own theme, and then you kind of focus on, little, tidbits from that specific thing that you're focusing on, the step. So the 8th step is about forgiveness. And so this month we've been focusing on forgiveness. And I'll be the first one to look you in the eye, bro, and tell you that I've done the total opposite of that. I've taken inventory and said, no, I want these individuals, or I want certain people, or I want myself even. I've held myself accountable. Like, I want people to know, like, I don't know, man, that I see them, man. I see, like, they don't fool me. And it's not my place to go out there and say, like, you need help. I told myself that I would never do that. I did it with one person, and that's the only person I'm ever going to do it with. And the rest, it's kind of like an inbound call center. Like, I've done outbound work, man. And I think that was a big reason why I would go to the bar, honestly, like, is that I would sit there and I would say, maybe somebody who knows my story will come up to me and ask me, like, hey, what happened, man? Like, how'd you get out of it? What I forgot is that these people and myself included, when I was going through it, I didn't want to hear that shit, man. I didn't want to hear anybody. I didn't want to hear a good story. I didn't want to hear no story. I wanted to drink. And I finally made the decision, like, dude, I'm disrespecting whatever they're into. Like, I'm coming to their church or their sanctuary and I'm posted up and I'm drinking a Red Bull and I'm going home or going to play golf, where I know that they're there and they're going through it. For the most part, man, most people that I see at bars, especially people that continuously go, regulars like they call them, they're there for a reason, man. They're not there to mess around, bro.
Yeah, 100%. And I have two things, because you just remind me. Remember that before we started recording, I was telling you that a lot of times I see posts on Facebook, right? I see posts that I save them and I want to reply. Just today I saw one from a mutual friend of us about losing friendships, about X, right? And I wanted to reply with, wait, I think you're seeing it in a positive way. You're seeing it from a different angle. But going back to a little bit of what you said, I have learned that, if they don't reach out asking for help or seeking your opinion, cállate la boca mejor. And that's exactly what you just said, as far as like having to understand that there's no way that maybe I see something from you and I'm, oh, Eric, you should do this or should do that. Because I have had my moments. You are one that posts a lot and used to post a lot of nonsense on Facebook, which I'm really going to talk about. Yeah, we can talk about. I want to reach out to, hey, bro, primero estás bien. Number two, like, déjate esas mamadas. Like, what's going on? Because there was some very deep stuff that if you really, again, in my opinion, like, if you were really in trouble, like, bro, you have people that can help you with that. But you're not reaching out to them. You just want for people to notice you. We'll talk about a little bit more about that, but lo que te quiero decir, and it's funny how, going back to what we're talking about right now, it's the same thing, as far as, like, no one will ever get helped if they don't want to be helped. Yeah. And that's it.
You know, I agree with that to an extent, man, but I will tell you that I'm here. My mom is a big part of why I'm here, man. I think she's the biggest reason why I'm here. But apart from my mom, there was only one person that I think had the intestinal fortitude to look me in the eyes and tell me, look, man, you're sick, bro. I don't care what you tell me. I don't care what you say. I'm in denial, bro. Like, I could show you a picture of me a year ago and you'd be like, what the heck? I was yellow, bro. Like, I was a dead man walking, bro.
This is prior to you knowing that you were sick, right?
No, this was when I was told that I had cirrhosis, man. Okay. This was when, like, towards the end, like, when my friends started looking at me like, no mames, bro, like, you need to do something. But before that, I would say about 3 months before that, there was a patron at a bar. I don't consider him like a homie, but he's a mutual friend. And that guy just stopped me, looked me in the eye. I thought he wanted to, like, fight me. He said, you're sick, bro. I see it in your eyes. And I looked at him like, I'm looking at you, bro. And I had tears in my eyes, bro. Because I knew he was right, man. I knew in my heart of hearts I was sick, bro. Like, I felt it. It was tough, man.
Senor, I'm sure you had multiple people reach out to you, especially because we do have some mutual friends. Like, even prior to you, I'm talking years ago, right? Bro, you do have a drinking problem, right? And what was the difference? And I think that now you wanted to get helped.
I think the difference then is that I was very open in saying that I had kind of a drinking problem. Like, what I mean by that is I wasn't hiding it from anybody. You know, I would post things on, you know, drinking in the shower, and, like, looking back on it, it was who I was. I wasn't trying to hide from anybody. I wasn't trying to be like, oh, I don't drink, I'm, you know, this and that and whatever. There's this dirty little secret. Like, people knew I drank, you know, and I remember, like, this one time I went to Austin, man. Speaking about your daughter, bro, I went to a football game. Look at how foolish this goes. We were there. I was drinking. I was drinking with my uncles. These are very prominent individuals, man, who have friends in, you know, high places, and we're tailgating, and they got us in there because of my uncle. And I'm there getting loaded, you know, doing stuff that probably I shouldn't be doing, you know, hitting on girls or doing whatever I was not supposed to be doing at the time. And I remember embarrassing my uncle, man. And I had never seen him. He never told me, like, hey, get help. He never said anything like that. He just had disappointment, to the point where I knew, like, he would have never, like, invited me again. And that hurt me because I hurt my family. And I started to see little by little the impact that I started, like, to have. So I go back to, I can't ever say that I wasn't told. Like, I had been told for a long time, man. Like, indirectly, relationships I lost, opportunities I lost. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I think I lost because of it, but it's my fault. Like, again, I'm not blaming it on alcohol, man. Like, alcohol, like, it was there, but, it wasn't the issue. Because I still have the same issues. I just don't have alcohol to deal with them. And I think that's why you hear me rant so much or post something, stupid. I acknowledge I'm a fool. Like, I probably, one of my friends, man, he said, ¿A quién le rifas, güey? ¿A quién le rifas, bro? ¿A quién? At the end of the day, they probably don't even care, bro, that you exist. They probably don't even know, bro. Like, you're doing all this stuff, bro. And at the end, when you take a step back, you can't tell who the clown is, bro. It's you, it's them, maybe, I don't know, but you're still a clown, bro. And it took a lot for me because I had an objective, but I had to take a step back and say, it's not about this or that or whatever. It's about, okay, this is the problem. This is what I see. And I'm living proof that you can come back, man. I'm living proof that even at the end, man, even at the end of the game, bro, like, you still have a chance. I'm gonna tell you a story, man. This happened to me like 2 days ago. I was talking to a guy, and he knew my story, and he told me, have you ever heard of this painting called The Masterpiece? And it's a masterpiece. It's not called a masterpiece, but it's in France, and where I think it's called the Louvre. I'll probably get it wrong, but it's where the Mona Lisa is, and it's called Checkmate. And I had never heard of it, okay? And he told me a pretty cool story. He said it's a painting, and it's a simple man playing chess with the devil. And the devil's winning. And the painting depicts this defeated man. And it's called Checkmate because as you're looking at the painting, the king obviously has no moves. That's what the checkmate is, right? And so that painting stayed up there for a long time, bro. And there was a master, chess master, who went into it and he studied it. He studied the actual painting and he looked at how many moves, calculated in his head, did this, did that. And he came to the realization that it wasn't a checkmate, that the actual, king had another move. And the guy told me, that's you, man. There was a checkmate on your ass, man. There was a green light out on you. You were a dead man, bro. And there was still one move left. And I don't know, Eli, like, I could live for another day. I could live, obviously I did it for a year. But at the end of the day, I still had that one move. And I think everybody has that one move. They just don't know it, And I think some people, like, I could tell you right now, man, and I'm not joking, and this is why if I'm not showing the emotion of, like, okay, yeah, I was gonna die and cry, like, I already cried, man. Like, I already sat there, I already shed all the tears I needed to shed, bro. I'm here more from a sense of urgency of saying, like, there's people out there dying, man. There's people in our city. You start every podcast or you end every podcast with, tell me one thing you like and one thing you don't like. And I love my city, bro. It's funny, man. Like, I can be in Horizon, like I was playing golf right now, and run into 3 people. It's just such a small, like, city, and I think todos nos apoyamos, and that's what I love about this town. I think the things that I don't have a lot to do with an element of us just thinking it's okay. Like, it's cool for us to, like, have this party city, or the only thing to do in El Paso is drink. Like, if that's the label, cool. Like, I get it. Yeah, it is. The bar scene is awesome in El Paso. Like, El Paso, I think you've had probably like 3 guests. They all say the same thing. El Paso has beautiful women. I agree with that. But there's a big but, man. You don't know the loaded gun that you're playing with, man. And that's the part that I want people to understand, man. Take the liver away. Take whatever, man. You get financially, it's expensive, bro. If I showed you some of the bar tabs, like, there's times that I didn't even want to look at my credit card because my credit card started automating the bars that I would go to. So it would show me, like, I swear, like there was a time I looked at it and there was like an $8,000 tab for like drinking, bro. And I was like, what the heck, bro?
I want to take you back a little bit antes de irnos a otro lado, because what you shared was very powerful. I'm very excited. And the thing that you said, you're absolutely right. When again, I asked about what is it that you like and what is it that maybe something that you would like to improve. And that's kind of like where we're at as far as you do see a lot of great stuff happening, right? As far as people-wise. But then we're not really paying attention to, wait a second, that's a negative thing that you're not getting helped at the moment. Am I right by saying that?
Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, there is a party scene out there. There are people that go out there and they enjoy themselves. Like I said, they own wine. That's cool. It is what it is. But then there is this, I don't know, I think a lot of people, when they're in that situation, they feel that there's no outlets. And there are outlets out there, man. There's a lot of assistance that we have in our city, man, that make this city great, that could help people.
You think most people that have a problem know they have a problem, or they don't? You tell me before I give you my opinion.
I think they know there's something wrong. I think they know that they don't act the same way maybe as everybody else does. I think their normal isn't everybody's normal. I mean, what they may understand, they may not have a problem because to them, they may have seen it growing up and it's cool, you know? But I think outside looking in, like when you're clear-headed and you're clearly thinking, like you can see there's signs out there that you could say, oh man, like I hope this guy you know, or this girl. I mean, and that's what I think I was mentioning. Like, if I would tell you, like, this week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, man, how many people, man, that I've talked to people, man, like, and this is why I'm doing this. They called me, bro, and they told me, I need a liver. How did you do it? And I don't know what to tell them.
I'm gonna share with you a story about a friend of mine that's been waiting for one for, I want to say, about a year and a half, 2 years, and apenas me lo topé en the grocery store next to my house allá en East Lake, and he was like, no, they actually call me that I was next. Finally, after like 2 years, I might be wrong with the dates, but once I was there at the hospital, they gave it to somebody else that was like on another list, and this is where maybe the technical stuff.
Yeah, I could shed some light on that.
Y luego that guy got it, and guess what? I dije, you know what? I think that's exactly what happened with Erik. Yeah. And this guy had to return to El Paso todavía with all the issues that he had. Yeah. Now, before we get into that, I'm going to share with you my thoughts on, right now we're talking specifically about alcohol, about people that maybe know that they might have a problem.
Yeah.
My take on not only alcohol, but with everything, and I see this a lot on social media, I see this with friends, with close people that I interact with. Yeah. A lot of people don't even know they have a problem. Again, I'm not talking alcohol now. I'm talking about, think about the people hating on people. Think about the people always complaining about someone or something. Mm-hmm. My take on it is that, ¿sabes qué? En vez de decir, este pinche hater pendejo or something, you know what? I actually feel bad for them, because it's not their fault.
Yeah.
Why is that? Because they were raised like that. They never had somebody to let them know, hey, espérate, pendejo. Like, stop hating on someone. Stop, like, don't focus on that, right? Again, I don't know how specifically applies to alcohol, right, to drinking. But a lot of the times that I see, like, people that have struggles, they know there's something wrong. Like, something in their life's not matching, right? It's not in balance. But I doubt they know, like, that they're the reason why they have this problem. And we're talking about some people that are like, esta persona, por ejemplo, es una tonta, whatever it is, pero esta persona no sabe. In their view, ellos no saben. Like, they think it's somebody else that is the problem, right? And that's where, like, and I was telling you about when I first started doing this, kind of like my idea was to create a separate podcast on, like, offering someone a different perspective. Yeah. Because right now, at your age, at my age, there's a high chance, and let's go with you, and I don't mean to, please, point at you, señor, ni nada, But there's a reason why you're an alcoholic. There's a reason for that, right? And I know right now you're blaming yourself, which 100% is true. But the fact is that, was it your dad died? Maybe. Was it maybe not having a father figure? Maybe. Was there something that maybe if you had like a different perspective, at a certain age, could that maybe guide your path to a different way? And the answer is yes. But a lot of times people don't have that, bro. Like you see all those people que valen madre en la vida, like hating financially, that they can't keep a job, or maybe their relationship. Yeah. You see that, and guess what? You look at their parents or their immediate surroundings. Wait, todos están así.
Sí. No, I get what you're saying, man. And I even think in that financial aspect, man, like, I think it comes down to pride, man. I really do. It came to pride for me, man. Like, even now, man, like, I know there's so many resources out there that I could probably take advantage of, man, and that I don't take the time to even look into it, because to me, it's like you say, admitting that you have that problem, like, oh dang, like, it's reality setting in, man. And that's just your pride. Like, I used to watch a lot of these videos. There was this guy, I don't know if you've seen it, and he comes out and he talks about like selling a bottle of water, and he's like, you can buy these waters 10 for $1 at Sam's. I don't know, I'm just giving you an actual an example. And then he says, but you won't do it because of pride. You won't go and sell on the street because of pride. And I think a lot of the times, like, people would rather say, oh, it's because of our government, or it's because of the direction that things are going in that my life is where it's at. No, man, it either builds you up to keep up with it, or, you know, you just continue to stay down, man. And the weird thing about it, bro, is that we need those people in our lives, man. Like, our country, I think a lot of people, like, they're cool with seeing people like that, man. Like, it's accepted because I'm striving, you're not. Like, that's a separator, man. And I think for some people, they're like, you know, you're hating because of whatever. I've been a hater, bro. I've been that person. Even after, that's for sure. Even after that.
Even right now.
And I could tell you, bro, like, again, acá en el rifas, bro. And I'm here sitting thinking, oh, I know this guy's thinking about why I hit him up, bro. Like, yeah, like, he knows I'm tough.
I want to go, I mean, it's still on the same subject, but, you know, before recording, I was telling you that a lot of times I screenshot some post of people that, it makes me cringe. It makes me, like, want to reply, wants me, like, in a positive way. Pero I don't do it because, ¿sabes qué, güey? Cállate, no es tu pedo, huh? And I said, bro, I have one of yours. Yeah. And you talked about it, and I said, you know what, let me find it. And then we said, no, you know what, let's do it while we're recording this. And right now you talked about it. You know that Derek Jeter documentary? Yeah. That I keep tally of all the people that no me sé exactamente como dijo, that either did me wrong or a negative thing or something.
He said, I know where they were at when they said it. I know what they were wearing when they said it. I know, you know, where I was at, what I was wearing, and, you know, I remember.
Okay. I screenshot that porque digo, qué pendejo. In my opinion, of course. Yeah. Es lo más estúpido, like, blaming someone else, right? In this case, we can say it served him, which is okay.
Yeah, but there's so many people that it didn't.
Bro, 95, 99% no. And guess what? You're stuck with that in your mind. So when you reposted that, ¿qué crees que te quisiera, güey? Déjate, in my opinion, de pendejadas.
No, for sure.
And that's kind of like sort of what it is. And then you did talk about how now in your 8th step, then correct me if I'm wrong, it's about forgetting, not blaming others, right? Well, guess what? That right there, you're blaming someone. Even though it had a positive outcome, the fact is that that's wrong. And so keeping a tally of who, bro, the same thing applies, keeping a tally of the positive people, but like, we don't understand, like, there has to be a balance, in my opinion.
No, I agree with you 100%. And I'll tell you, you know, when I think about that, foolish pride, man, has gotten me to a lot of stupid places, bro. Let me tell you a story, man. You like soccer?
I like stories too.
Let me tell you a story. I think I'm pretty good at FIFA. You know, I haven't played in a while. I played today. But I'm pretty good, and I know people are gonna watch this and say, "Yeah, right, bro, I beat you." Whatever, dude. Yeah, but I would like to think I am. You know why I started playing FIFA? So I was 16 years old, and I had a girlfriend, and she started dating some other guy. And she told me, yeah, well, we just sit up in his room and he plays FIFA and it's good, whatever. And my sick head, bro, I created this freaking, I'm gonna beat him for like, it's gonna be me against him and the winner takes her, bro. And that's what I thought in my sick head, bro. And that's what kept me going. And that day never came, bro. But I would have beat him and I would have won the girl. But I mean, it is what it is. But those are things that like I get where you're coming from. But I think a lot of that, like, I told you so mentality, I think that was what Derek Jeter was trying to get at, bro.
And at the end of the day, bro, and this is a conversation that I have with my daughter, everything's a lie. Like, we don't know if God exists. Everything's a lie, bro. Yeah. So we better off tell ourselves the story that suits us in a positive way.
Yeah.
If that story for Derek Jeter, yourself, like, if that's serving you in a positive way, go for it. Problem is that a lot of people don't have the self-awareness to understand, espérame, estoy valiendo, like, I'm not good at FIFA. Valgo madre for FIFA.
Yeah.
Wait, olvídate esa mamá. About, you know, like, that is kind of like where a lot of people, in my opinion, don't have that as far as that self-awareness to understand, espérate, I did use this in a positive way, but if it's not serving me, now I'm stressed, I'm doing, olvídate de eso. And again, everyone has that. Even me, that I'm trying to, like, or I sound like I got my shit together, which I think I do. But the fact is, that's a story that I'm telling myself. ¿Es la correcta? I don't know, bro, but it has served me. How do I know it served me? Bro, because I'm in peace. I don't know what else. But right now, even saying that serves me. Is it a lie? Maybe.
Yeah. No, being at peace is important, man. I think where I messed up, okay, because I did mess up, and it's funny, man, like, I told you, so September 2nd, sent you that text, I think somewhere along the line, we talked, and I told you, look, Eli, like,
over
talking
the phone,
about,
or?
yeah, I think so, man.
See?
Yeah, and, like, talking about foolish pride, bro. Like, me sitting here, right here, like, what you're talking about, like, that's the foolish pride I'm talking about, man. Since the day we sat down on, or you text me that day, like, this has consumed a little piece of my life, not all of it, but I've gone through it. I've imagined what this would look like, and all that little stuff would help me in recovery and say, okay, I still have to tell my story. Like, I told one of my friends this, a close friend, I told him, I never wanted to look down, man, because when I looked down, I knew the reality of it, man, and I knew that I would fall. And so I kept telling myself these little stories like, oh, I'm going to do a podcast with Eli. Or, when I get like it, I would tell my mom, when I get to El Paso, the first thing I want to eat is this. And, whatever the case might be. And it's that little pride or whatever that got me going. But I get what you're saying, man. I think it's a double-edged sword that I've had to learn to manage, man.
At the end of the day, I really firmly believe that everything's a lie. Like, whatever you tell yourself, just do something that serves you. Because a lot of people do the negative thing, no? O sea, like something that doesn't serve them, meaning that they're feeling upset, unhappy their entire life. ¿Sabes qué? No. And I'm going to give you this scenario. Okay, she was like as hot as anybody else, bro. Like, right? Any story, güey, que ella te platicaba, it was about someone trying to hit on her.
Yeah, for sure.
Y luego yo me quedé así como que, and not only me, pero todos, like, ay, güey, okay, well, like, very high self-esteem and all. Yeah. But then if you think about it, if you analyze the situation, bro, that's fucking amazing. That's really good that she had that. Because the opposite, which is 90% of people that have that, oh, I'm fat, I'm not good enough, even triste toda su vida, right? Maybe in this case, like the story that she was telling herself is that she's super hot and all these people want something with her. And again, you looking from the outside might be like, ay, no mames, pinche vieja, calafra. Wait, but that's what served her to be happy with. And ¿qué prefieres? La gente que está depressed, like, oh my God, I'm so fat, blah, blah, blah. Or someone like her. You're like, you know what? Fuck yeah. She's doing the right thing, way.
Yeah, there's this person in my life right now, man, that I can tell you is very similar to that. And I learned a lot from that person, man. And it's funny, bro. Like, you try to really even walk them through reality. And that belief system, the core belief system, and it goes back to what I told you about my cousin offline. Like, maybe it is true, maybe it's not, man. But they have that vision. And again, going back to the pride piece, man, that's what gets them to where they're at. Like, just because I can't see it doesn't mean, it's not true or whatever. And I get what you're saying, man. But when it does happen, you're like, oh, you feel like, oh, I don't know, man. What if you would have seen her out with like the least expected person that you thought, and you're like, oh, this is the truth.
Yeah, maybe, but at the end of the day, that's what served her. Mm-hmm. At least on the outside, my hope was that que ella sí se lo creía. Because then we also have the people that will tell you stuff, but like they know that it's a lie. So meaning that they're not content in their life, Mm-hmm. But bueno, señor, I want to go a little bit back because, again, hearing your story, it's amazing. It's really good. Yeah. Like, it's powerful, but I also want, like, if someone, again, maybe that one person, mi tía que ve esto, mm-hmm. to be like, okay, how can I catch myself, like, before it's too late, right? Yeah. I'm sure you have thought about ways that you didn't do yourself, but maybe that you can go back. Before I do that, though, let's talk about relationships a little bit.
All right.
How did that affect your relationships? I'm sure it did, but talk to me as far as how did it affect your problem with your dependency with alcohol in your real close relationships. Let's not talk about friendships. No. I'm talking about your wife, girlfriend, tu mamá, whatever it is. Yeah. Let's talk about that. How did that affect you, sir?
So one thing that I remember my mom always used to tell me as a kid was un borracho cansa. Un borracho cansa. And it affected every relationship from a romantic standpoint that I was in, man. And it was my fault, man. Because I would rather be, you can't be at two places at one time, man. I can tell you that it was because I wanted to be the provider, and that was the way that I measured my success. When it probably should have been other things. Like, that's a lie I would tell myself. Like, I was a good provider. But at the end of the day, like, I was a horrible spouse, bro. Like, I was always at the bar, man. And those are the things that I would share, bro. But, like, there's things that were foul, man, that I look back on, talking about the 8th month being the month of forgiveness, bro. Like, I don't even know if I would forgive myself if I was those individuals, man. Like, I put a lot of people through a lot of things, man.
Have you reached out to some, if not all, or maybe you're not ready yet to sincerely apologize for the things that you did?
I think right now I'm not ready to go back and forth. I think I have my own reservations with certain things, and I'm not to the point where I could put that aside and really be engaged with somebody and just tell them I was wrong. There are people that I've sat down with and I've told them, like, I hurt you and I'm sorry for that. There's people in my life, even in my past, that I've gone back and just made sure, because they made sure I was okay when I needed them the most. Another thing that my mom always used to tell me is the people that really are there for you when you're either in jail or you're in the hospital, and I've been to both. And when I was in the hospital, I remember just so many people just filing in and filing out, bro. I remember waking up one day and my barber, who's been my barber for like 34 years, sitting next to me, man, just caressing my hair, and I was like, what the heck, what's up, Fidel, but it was just the love that people had for me, man, that I did have to circle back with those individuals. I called personally every person that I felt needed to know. I wanted them to hear it from my mouth. I have cirrhosis of the liver. And it's funny, man, like the way that people try to convince themselves that they don't have a problem, they try to convince you that you don't have a problem. Like, you don't know how many people that are close to me that tried to convince me the other side of it, bro. Like, I remember going to people and saying, dude, I need help. Nah, you're not that bad. You're good. You're good. You got a good job, man. You take care of your kids. You're an awesome dad.
Is it their fault, though?
No, it's not their fault, man. It is not their fault.
It's what they know, right?
Yeah, it's what they know. It's what I post on Facebook. It's what I show them. And that's why I talk about transparency. I also showed them the alcohol piece of it, but it was on me at the end of the day. But I went to close people, man. Like, people that like, I just, bro, like, looking at literally bro, I got a problem. No, you don't. All right, cool. Wow. And I would make the call on my own, and I would try to go back and, you know, get the help, but it wasn't enough, man. And then I think for a time, talking about relationships, man, like I was such in denial. Like that was the thing that people would focus on. Like we would go to a marriage counselor, and then like I remember going to this marriage counselor, and she was an alcoholic herself.
She was
okay. So once she heard, yeah.
Oh,
and
recovering.
Once she heard that I was an alcoholic, bro, because I wasn't recovering at that time. Like she kind of just focused on that, and I was like, I'm gonna shut down. Like she already pinpointed something I don't like. And so my relationship didn't get better and my drinking didn't get better, you know. But I've gone to AA, man. I've done AA. I've done a lot of stuff to help me, and it works. It works, man. But, you know, I've also seen where a lot of people will relapse, man, and run into those situations, still be in them, man. And what I tell them, bro, is show up. Just show up, man. Just at least you're doing that. At least you're showing up and saying, "Hey, look, I want to work through this." I'm not saying you're going to be successful, but at least you're not giving up, because you can succumb to it too, man. You can succumb to it. Like I was telling you, man. I was talking to somebody who was a liver candidate, and in the process, like I circled back and I asked my friend, like, whatever happened. I talked to this person personally, man, on the phone. Like, this is what you do, or how I could help, you know, and they didn't make it, bro. Like a week later, like they weren't there. And you get a lot of survivor's guilt, man. Like, why me? The list that you're talking about, this is how it works, man. So there's a pointing system. I don't know how many points. I think it's 30. But like basically one of the things to answer your question that you could do right now is you can go get a physical and ask specifically for certain, you know, readings on, let's say, your enzymes, your kidney enzymes, your liver enzymes, your body, whatever the case might be. There's this specific one that they look at for the liver that's called bilirubin. And bilirubin is basically, you know, some chemical in your body that helps kind of digest a lot of the pollutants. And if there's too much bilirubin in your body, you produce what's called ammonia. Well, you know what ammonia is, man. And literally, I remember smelling ammonia. I remember, you know, like smelling myself in the morning, and it was like, damn, it smells like when my mom cleans. And it was literally my body sweating out ammonia. And you go through a lot of, like, you're in a drunken state all the time, man. Like, drunk, bro. Like, I remember 2 weeks before I went to Dallas, I had a doctor's appointment and I was still driving, bro. But my ammonia levels were so high. I had just gotten a new car at that point. My mom was like the passenger. And I just was out of it, man. Like, I was telling her a bunch of nonsense. And like, it got to the point where she's like, pull over, man. Like, it's not funny anymore. Like, what's going on? And then the day came, bro, and it was black and white, man. It was just, I went in, they looked at my stuff, they made up some excuse or tried to kind of give me hope by saying, like, we need you to do another ultrasound with a different iodine.
I want to just for the people, and even myself, bro, because the way I knew about what had happened to you is through Hector, right? As far as I know, because he got sick, but he got a transplant or needed a transplant. But like, you hear that, right? And you're like, oh, okay, but I hope he's good. But how severe it was, can you talk to us a little bit about kind of like what you were feeling, what made you go to the doctor, right? What was the thing that, okay, this is kind of like, and then when they told you that you needed a transplant, and not only any transplant, like you need that yesterday, you know, and walk us through that, por favor.
So about 4 years ago, I was told that I had a fatty liver by my doctor.
What that means, senor?
So fatty liver, so there's 4 stages of kind of, you know, liver damage, bro. The first stage is just, you know, regular wear and tear, you know, and the thing about there's a myth about the liver. It's true, and then it's kind of not, that the liver recuperates itself. You'll hear a lot of alcoholics say, well, the liver is the only organ that can fix itself. I don't know if they like sit on that or whatever the case might be. But make a long story short, man, I was sick How did I know I was sick? I got jaundice, so I turned yellow. 2 months prior to being told that I had cirrhosis, my vision changed, bro. I saw everything like in yellow, and I was like, what the hell? I started hallucinating a lot, man. It was just crazy, man. Like I didn't look well, man. And I had a lot of people that like started asking me like, what's going on? Specifically my mom, man. She got worried like big time. And, I just went to the doctor. I finally said, yeah, there's only one doctor or two in this city, man, that really specialize in that, man. And I really got lucky again. I mean, I'll just say what it is, bro. Like I did, one of my friends is really, really, like, I'm lucky to have her in my life. Like she helped me. Like she really sat down with me and told me this, if you're going to do this, this is what you need to do. And one, you need to stop drinking like today. She's like, because you're not going to get on any type of list if there's alcohol in your system. So I did. July 7th or something like that. I stopped drinking.
So you went to this doctor, the specialist now, right? ¿Qué te dijo?
He came in and he there's a liver. I remember because I just went 2 weeks ago and I saw the same little thing. So there was a liver and there was 4 different stages. And he told me, so this is a liver. This is basically shows damage in the liver. This is stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and then stage 4, which is liver failure. And he said, that's where you're at. You probably have like 2 months to live.
Te dijo right there and then.
Al chile. Te vas a morir, güey.
What was your first reaction? What were you thinking at that moment?
I kind of knew.
You already knew that it was severe, right? You already had years of a course, like that you were not feeling as great as you should be feeling. And this guy just gave you the news. ¿Qué crees, güey? This is...
Yeah.
Okay.
So I remember calling my mom. I remember telling her, are you sitting down? Yeah. I got cirrhosis. I need a liver transplant. And she didn't say a lot. And then I went home.
Te dijo el doctor, okay, you need a transplant, and the chance of you getting one
is very slim to none. So I would get my faculties in order.
That's exactly what he said. I mean, you should.
Like, you should start thinking about, like, meeting your maker, pretty much, bro.
So, we're going to talk about this.
Yeah.
And the reason why, my motivator, or the one thing that I'm scared, or that has allowed me to do stuff, like, outside my comfort zone, whatever, es eso, güey. Yo lo único miedo que tengo es morirme. And not today, not tomorrow. Even if you tell me I'm going to die in 1,000 years, I don't want to die. So you being told, ¿qué crees, güey? Like there is the liver transplant that you need, but there's, I don't know the percentage, or maybe you can share that you're not going to make it.
Not only that, they compounded it with, okay, and if you do make it, the hill that you're going to have to climb, like, it's just not... Okay, you get the liver, like, you have to get lucky. That liver has to respond to your body. That, the liver, there's a rejection period. Like, if a mosquito bites me right now, bro, and my immune system isn't where it needs to be, like, my liver can go to shit, So, I mean, I'm still not out of the woods, man.
What was your relationship with death prior to that?
I was scared to death, man. I remember.
Prior to that, like, antes de, like... Is that something that was in your mind?
Yeah,
like
all the time.
Like, you know what, I'm gonna die. Like kind of like what I'm sharing with you.
Ever since I was a kid, I could remember, bro, being in the shower and really getting deep in thought about death and thinking, I don't have, like, I'm a man of faith, but I don't have the faith to just blindly believe, like, that there's an afterlife, bro. And I know now that there's something, bro. There's something out there. I just don't know what it is. And as I sat there, like, I just would always think, like, that's it, bro. Like, it's the end of the movie. You fade to black.
¿Qué sentías, güey? Like, I know right now you're talking about that moment,
bro.
But like,
I would cry, bro.
Okay.
I would sit there and I would cry.
Think about what, like,
my daughter,
all your mistakes, your daughter. Like,
sabes
que I shouldn't have done this. What were you thinking?
I was thinking about my daughter Mia, not growing up with a dad, bro. I was thinking about not being there for my daughter's graduation. I was thinking about, doing the same things that my dad did to me, bro. That was my biggest fear in life, is the sins of a father, bro. And I was basically doing the same shit that my dad did to me.
How positive you were that you were getting this transplant? Because looking back, like I don't know, but maybe in your brain, like, okay, but there is a chance. Oh yes, there is no chance. Like looking back then, did you have some percentage that said, but I might make it, or 100% you gave up and said, no, I'm not?
So I think this is the part where I hope it makes sense to certain people, bro. I had to almost change like my persona, bro. As weird as that sounds. Like,
try to explain it, porque no te entiendo.
I think I've always had a mindset of like just being kind of tackle stuff head on, like get in your face, be aggressive, be competitive. And I think that's where all that stuff started to come back. And I started to be vindictive and say, all right, I'm going to come back and I'm going to prove that person wrong. Or, you know, and even the way that I started to, and this was before the liver transplant, bro. Like a lot of people have asked me about my tattoos. And they've been like, why would you get that tattoo? Like, why would you get certain tattoos, like in certain places, like my hand and stuff like that? And I started to take on this persona of just like, I want people to know that, you know, I'm not going to give up. I'm not the strongest person in the world. I'm not the toughest person in the world, but I had to take on that me against the world mentality, bro. And I think a lot of the aggressiveness that was left over of that, like, is still coming to light right now, to where I need to learn how to appreciate the fact, man, that I was given a second chance, bro. And that's tough, man. That really is tough, because like I said, man, that's survivor's guilt, bro. Like, just you telling me the story about your friend right now, like, damn, like, that's why I don't reach out to people, man. Like, I reached out to one person, but like, I don't know, man. I don't know how I would feel about it. I don't know how my mom would feel if I would have died and then her hearing a feel-good story about a liver. It's tough, man. It really is. It's like cancer survivors, man. Like, that's great. That's awesome. Like, more power to them. But there's probably more sad stories on cancer than good ones, bro.
But even the ones that survived, and again, you can correct me, señor, I'm no expert. Mm-hmm. But even the cancer survivors, te aseguro que it's like, okay, well, I made it, right? And of course, maybe I'm still cautious, whatever it is. But in your case, knowing that, going back to survivor's guilt, that, no way, I deserve to die. And I did not.
Yeah.
Way different than cancer surviving patients. Again, it's
no. I get what you're saying. Like, I kind of caused it, which I did. Okay.
At that time, were you blaming? Like, did you know that? No, pues sí, it's a direct correlation of my life choices.
I accepted my fate, man. I sat there. I think I sent you a text. I don't know if I sent it to you, but on my anniversary, which was last Friday, I sent a text message to every person that I felt needed to hear it. And the text message was something to the effect of, you know, thanking them for being there for me. But not only them thanking them, but like, thanking them for helping me stay alive and finding that extra oomph that I needed to stay alive, man. Because, I mean, I'm here, yeah, man, but, dude, if I would tell you, like, I had to learn how to walk, bro. I had to learn how to you know, even get out of my bed, bro. Like, do you know what a serrostedi is? Serrostedi? No. It's this machine that it looks like a crane, bro. And basically, like, your bed's right here, picks you up, dude, lifts you, puts you on another thing. You sit there, you cart it off, then you use the bathroom, you take a shower, you get back on that thing, it carts you back in, bro. That was my life for like a month.
But that was after the transplant.
Yeah.
Simplemente te digo, and again, yo no sé nada, güey. Nomás que I'm just thinking out loud.
Yeah.
Like, in my opinion, like, wait, pero I prefer that 100% over me thinking I was gonna die a week ago. Or no. And te digo,
no,
dime si no, güey.
Yeah, no. I get it. And I'll tell you, I never hit a wall. There was never a wall where I said, I need this one thing. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of things that happen in the background, because I remember my mom talking about obstacles that she had to jump with, like the insurance and stuff like that. But I don't remember ever giving up. I never did.
How important that was
It was
looking back. Again, the story that you were telling yourself.
Yeah.
How important that was.
It was super important, man. It was super important because I think that kept the people around me going. Okay. Because I needed them. I needed people in my life. Like, it does take, a city or whatever. Like, I needed my mom to have faith. And there was a point where I remember, that I told my mom, can you call a priest? And she's like, for what? And I'm like, I want to get rid my last rites, And
there was how many days before the transplant?
This was 2 days before the surgery. But I wasn't doing well, man. I think I had 3 seizures. It's funny, like, I remember nurses telling me, like, you're going to ICU because we don't think you're going to make it tonight.
Oh, my man.
And me not going to sleep. And I remember, like, the weirdest things, bro. Like, just...
What is something that you remember at that moment that you were thinking more than once? I know you say your daughter, of course. I'm sorry to, like, if you want to talk about something else, we'll do it. But to me,
a promise that I had made to my mom when I found out that I had cirrhosis, and I told her, you know what, you're not gonna have to bury it. You don't ever, because I think that's my mom's biggest fear, is having to bury a kid. And I told her that's not gonna happen. And I mean, I know there's a lot of
promise, breaking, like, thinking, like
that arrogance, bro.
Thinking about, like, your mom. It's not even. I don't think you're thinking about yourself. You're thinking about your mom.
My mom.
Wait, but
my
I
kids.
can just imagine.
And I was just like, like, I gotta keep going, and it was tough, man. And it's like they say. I read this quote, man. You want to see God's sense of humor, just tell him your plans. Because my plans were, before, up until the point of cirrhosis, like, I had big dreams still, man. And I still do, but, like, I was like, shit, like, who cares if I want to do this and that? Like, I gotta save my life, man. And, okay, it's easy saying I gotta save my life, but, like, who's gonna save my life, man?
Yeah. Señor, let's go back to the story a little bit. El doctor te dice, stage 4, there's a high chance you're gonna die, right? How many days, how many weeks, how many months pass until finally you have...
so I think the doctor told me sometime in July.
Okay.
Because that's when I stopped drinking. They told me about this hospital in Dallas that did the transplant.
And I'm sorry to pause you right there. When you stopped drinking, that you said stage 4, right? Did you still want to drink? Or ahora sí, that your thought of dying?
Yeah.
Okay.
By that point, no, I didn't want to drink anymore. Physically, I couldn't drink no more.
Pero aside from physically, like, mentally, querías tomar? And the reason I'm asking this, and this might not go, is because I think the power of the mind. Of the mind, bro. Like, te digo, yes, you're dying, and of course, pero your mind, you know what? I gave up alcohol.
No, I don't. I think at that point it was just
something else.
I knew, man. Like, again, bro, these stories. Like, maybe it's a law of attraction that I pay more attention to stories that have to do with this disease. But, like, my aunt from Phoenix was telling me a story about one of her friends who was on a liver, list, and she drank, man, and she got off. They took her off right away, and she didn't make it, bro. That thing that I had to keep in my head, that if these days, because they told me, we're gonna test you. I still get tested for alcohol till this day, and they
why? Because of
for other reasons.
Okay.
Yeah, but it just was like they made it very clear. Like, if you drink, like, we're not gonna help you. You're lucky we're helping you now.
Okay.
Because
Ahora sí. Sorry to interrupt you. This happened in July.
Yeah.
Y luego cuando pasó esto, like.
So I had an interview with a doctor in early August, and originally.
In El Paso?
No, man, over the phone. This was still COVID.
This is 2020, 2021?
2021, but COVID was still there.
Wait, this is last year?
Yeah, last year. It's been 1 year. 1 year and a couple of days. And I remember him asking me a bunch of questions. Him just seeing if I'm a good candidate. Like, does it look like I have the support around me? Does it look like I'm a good candidate?
Tell me what is a good candidate aside from the physical aspect. Like, what else?
Well, how sick you are. Like, for me, so the list is so crazy, man, that like it's a national list.
Yeah.
So they give it to the person with the highest number, and I was the person with the highest number when that liver came up.
In August, you were the person.
So like I was like pretty high priority at that time.
Wait, si no lo hubieras agarrado, how many were days, weeks, hours?
Más o menos, like maybe I would probably passed away like in late September, maybe early September.
Like 1 more month.
Yeah, for sure. Like I was bad. I was fucked up, man.
All right.
My feet were swollen, bro. Like there's just so much. My body was shutting down, bro.
Okay. You got this transplant in August.
August 21st.
Okay. Take us back when someone said, "Sabes que, wait, like we do have something for you."
So, yeah.
So that was, I'm sure, good moment for you. Like, okay.
So originally the trip to Dallas was to kind of just meet the people. It wasn't to have a liver transplant. But
it was to meet who? Doctors?
Doctors. You have to go through a panel of 5.
To do what?
For them to all agree that you should get a liver.
Okay.
So it's just not, oh, you're the candidate. Like they interview you and I don't know what their specifications are to determine what a good candidate is.
Is your age one?
Like to an extent.
70 years old.
To an extent, because they only give liver recipients a 10 years like lifespan. But
is that the average way?
Yeah, it is, but you got to take, the average person is around in their 50s, 60s, who get a liver. So like, the life expectancy.
Average your age? What's the average for people that get the transplant in your age?
There's not a lot of data around that. There's a data, the only reference point that they provided me with was a person that had a liver transplant in their early teen years. And they are still around in their like 40s or 50s. So
are you scared of that? I know we're jumping into subjects here, but is that something you think that I might have only 5 years? I might have only 10?
It was at a point, like I remember, I think it had a lot to do with a lot of the anger that I had. There's this J. Cole song that, again, going back to Derek Jeter, I mean, you can find that anywhere. There's this J. Cole song that he said, like, I'm making a list, I'm checking it twice. Like, there's a part of me that just was, like, so focused on all the stuff I was gonna miss, all the things I didn't say. Like, I'm gonna die with so much I had to say and so much I kept in, like, and that's why I think that after I had my liver, like I said, like that's why I started doing what I did, and it led to other things in my life that I should have been focused so much on just getting help and whatever. And that's when I made the determination to say, look, the only thing that I have to measure it is if I'm drinking or not. And as long as I don't pick up a beer, like it's a successful day. It doesn't matter what happens. Like as long as I don't drink, I'm good. Is
that how you feel right now?
Right now, man.
I'm gonna. I have so many questions regarding this because you kind of did talked about as far as life gave you a second chance.
Yeah.
Which of course it did, right? And of course your mission, and we'll talk about what is your goal long term to, of course, help others, right? Pero a la misma vez me dices, I'm good if I just don't drink. I'm like, espérate, don't you want to save the fucking world right now? Or is that just the way you position it yourself so you don't take in so much stuff that you need to do it day by day? I don't know. Does that make sense?
It does, man. I think it's right now I'm still trying to find my normal. What my normal looks like. Like, is it playing golf with Hector every Wednesday? Like, is it me focusing on like the promotions that I'm running or little projects that I'm doing? Like, is it me being a full-time father? Like, what is it? But the number one thing that I need to do outside of not drinking is take my medicine. That's another measurement. Like, dude, I take like 30 meds a day. It's a full-time job, man. It is a full-time job. Like, I get the medicines. I, move them to where they need to be, morning, night.
Wait, that's forever.
That's forever. I mean, it's called rejection medication, man. Like, your liver can just reject the organ like so fast, man.
What is the percentage of people that go? Yeah,
I don't know the percentage, but it's relatively high.
It is.
Yeah, man. Because like I said, I've been blessed that my liver responded so well. Hey, here's another story that I remember, I don't want to say this is exactly what happened because again there was a lot of ammonia in me, but I remember that the day before I got my transplant, they came into the room, and these were a group of doctors because I have like 20 doctors, like I just don't have one, and they came in the room. I swear it's like 4 doctors, 8 nurses, 3 students, like I had a grip of people. And I remember them coming in the room and they waking me up and telling me, we found you a liver. Like, you're going to get operated.
This is day 2, day 3. ¿Cuántos días?
No, it was like a week. I was in a week in Dallas. And I had to get flown out there. I was so bad, man, that I couldn't drive. I wouldn't make the trip, supposedly. So they flew me over there.
Okay.
So I was flown with 2 paramedics and a pilot, bro. I mean, how much do you think that probably cost?
Yeah.
That's just to get me there, bro. There's no guarantee that I was even going to get a liver. Like I told you, at first I was going to go get interviewed. And then I got sick.
And within that week,
I got pretty sick.
They
said, you know what? No, they said, you know what? You're coming down here anyways, but like you need to get flown down here. And you need to be here like tomorrow. Because you're that sick. And they don't have anymore in El Paso, they don't have the resources for you anymore. Like, you need to come to the specialized hospital where we can really like focus on that liver because it can come at any time. And so they woke me up that day and they told me, we found you a liver. We just need to tell you one thing. And I said, what? And they said, the liver that you're going to receive is from an inmate. And we just have to let you know that because, I mean, I don't know if there's a statue on that or what.
Does that make a difference?
I don't know, but they were telling me that, and I had to say yes. No, for me, no. I didn't care. I mean, it was a liver, like whatever. And going back to the guilt remorse, like I wrote a letter to this person, like I think they're not around anymore, but they have a family, and there's a process that you can go through.
¿Se lo diste a la familia?
I haven't yet.
Okay.
I don't know, again, like...
What was your goal? What is your goal with that?
I mean, I want to thank them. I want to tell them, that, a part of their son or daughter, I don't even know if it was male or female. I mean, to be
Does that have to be the same sex sentences?
I don't know, man.
Okay.
Those are things that weren't important to me at the time. Yeah. It's just a liver.
We'll come back to this, pero dime, okay. Te dicen que they have one. Mm-hmm. You go from, again, I'm sure I'm not using the right terms, but happiness 0 to 100, happiness from 0 to 50% that you're still like, oh, I might die in this surgery. Do you change or te quedas igual knowing or again, believing, thinking that you're not going to make it anyways, even if they have that? Like,
no.
Walk me through your
Once
state
they told
of
me that they had a liver, once they told me we're going into surgery, like I just at that point left it in God's hands, and I said,
pero ¿cómo te sentías tú? Like,
I knew there was a huge risk,
but you were feeling positive.
Yeah, I was positive the whole time, even when I got out of there. Like
they gave you good news. I'm trying to understand. Like, they did give you good news.
Yeah,
no, es como
there was good news, but I could still. I think I have a very high emotional intelligence. I could still feel in the room that
based on your Facebook post, no creo. Pero bueno, ¿no?
There was a lot of skepticism in the room, man. There was like, okay, well, yeah, you're gonna get this liver, but and there was a lot of buts. But this can happen, but this can happen, but that can happen, but this can happen.
How long was that meeting que te dijeron, okay, we have
about 45 minutes, man.
Okay.
Where my parents were in the room, I was in the room, and the doctors were in the room, and we talked it through, and we said, all right, well, we're willing to take the risk.
After this, was it the next day? Was it the same night? ¿Cuándo te operaron right after they told you they have it ready?
The next day, I went in to get my operation, like at 1 a.m.
Okay. How many hours was this?
To my recollection, what my mom had told me, it was a good 14 hours. I remember she told me that she slept in the parking lot, like she was nervous. She made a lot of phone calls. She prayed a lot. But
describe your mom for a little bit, because that's the real hero here.
Yeah, for sure, man. So my mom, she...
Olvídate de ti, güey. And I'm sorry to be... This, like, I don't mean to disrespect you. I'm just trying to understand what type of person your mom is. Olvídate de ti, you know? Because I want to know, like, how much you change, or this is her.
That's who my mom is, man. She's a resilient person, but she is the strongest individual that I've been around, bro. My mom, that I think, you know, and you'll say that my Facebook posts show differently, but I think a lot of the people that really know who I am and know the heart that I have, like, they know where I get it from, and it's from her. Because my mom, she'll go to the ends of the earth for anybody. You know, she was obviously widowed at a very young age, bro. She never remarried. She focused on us. She worked just like anybody, bro. Like, it was a pretty tough. It was tough, but I never knew that. You know, I never felt like I needed anything. So she hid it very good, bro.
All this time she was brave, giving you hope, telling you to think positive.
The whole process? Oh yeah, bro. Her faith was untested, man. She sat there and she stone cold, bro. My uncle describes it pretty well. She said she went into Martha mode. Her name's Martha, and he described it to me. Nothing mattered but what the mission at hand was. It didn't matter what day it was, if it was raining outside. I'm sure, like, if she even took care, like, I'm sure there was days that she probably didn't eat, bro. Like, the mission was getting me a liver. The mission was getting me back to El Paso, and she accomplished that.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. That's really nice. Really good. Después de que agarraste tu liver transplant, walk us through what happened next. You already said that a month or two was extremely hard. But I want to know, in your mindset, like, ya cuando estabas conscious, you were feeling positive, but still, like, iffy about it. No. How are you feeling after you woke up and you had a new transplant or a new liver?
So this is going to sound stupid, but it was a very interesting, this time of year is a very interesting year for me, time of year, because August is when my kids' birthdays are. And then we changed the page into September, and basically from September to February, like, I'm on football mode. Like, I just watch football, I just watch sports. Like, everybody knows that, bro. And it was weird because what I remember most about that whole process was preseason happening, football happening, like, all these things happening and me growing at the same time. But I had to set short-term goals, like, okay, cool, like, I want to get back to El Paso and watch, like, all these games or whatever. And that was the little goal. So I got back. But there was so many, like, things that, like, you encounter, man. Let me give you an example. I was in Dallas, okay? One thing that I love, and I've said this on Facebook as well, bro, like, if this shit would have happened in El Paso, it would never happen. But, like, I got out. This was day one. I had a cane. Like,
after how many months, how many weeks did you get out?
I got out late September.
A month in the hospital? 2 months?
I was a month in the hospital and like a month in rehab.
Okay.
And I remember we went to a burger place. I was in a cane. I think I got my COVID shots because they gave them to me, because obviously I needed to come back with like a grip of shots. And I remember I was climbing up at a restaurant, and I mean, I just, mi fuerza, like, no tenía nada, and I fell, boom, and like everybody just looked.
Inside the restaurant?
Mm-hmm. And I remember that my mom and my stepdad, like, I don't know how they did it, but they picked me up. And I remember saying to myself, like, I need to get to El Paso, fuck this. Dallas saved my life, but I if I was gonna die, which I still felt like I may, take me home, you know? But as I was coming back home, I was like, nah, I'm not going home to die. I'm going home to get better and be there for my kids. And
were you thinking of all these projects I'm gonna do? Yeah. I'm gonna really start doing this. I'm gonna stop doing or thinking this certain way.
Yeah. But then there's another reality to addiction that I think was covered up for a long time, that when I had to start facing that, that was a different dilemma.
Let's talk about that, because that's kind of like what I was telling you, that Hector talked to me like after you got back to El Paso. There was a very dark moment. I want to know if you can please tell us what happened, and number one, why that happened.
Yeah, so it was March 15th
of this year.
So it was around that time. I was still employed. I had come back to work, so I started working January 27th.
You were feeling good enough to go back to work? No? Well, for the most part, I think. Well, you got back to work, so
I got back to work, but it was tough, man. Like, it was tough. Mentally, physically, balancing the meds, like doing all that. And then at that time, I was still living with my mom because she was still kind of helping me out. And then I made the decision to move out. So I moved out.
February, January?
January.
Okay.
Yeah, I started working and things were going well. You know, my team was getting acclimated to me again and things were going back to normal. And then I had an incident at work, and I wanted to do something that was outside of my character.
Can you, especially now that you don't work there anymore, can you be as specific as you may wish?
Yeah. So obviously when you have a lot to lose, you have to be very PC on the way that you approach certain things, man. And I think at that moment, that's when I started to realize that I didn't want those types of things that held me down. Like, I wanted to be freely able to say what I wanted to say without the ramifications.
A ver, señor, you try to be more specific on what you're on this, porque no te está entendiendo. Kind of like there was a situation in work.
There was a situation at work. Somebody hit me up sideways. Okay. I'll rap.
Okay. What do you mean sideways?
Very flagrant.
Te habló mal, te dijo
algo. Yeah. Just this had been going on for a while.
Okay.
And I just got to the point where I was like, look, man, like, I don't know what you think. I don't know if you just think because I'm a supervisor, like, you can talk to me in the form that you want. But this individual didn't live in El Paso, and I really wanted to, like, just go. And I don't know what I wanted to do, but it's just, I started to have a mental breakdown, bro.
Because of this incident? Or was it accumulation of so many things?
Let me tell you what happened. So I got in my car, bro. And where I live, you know, you can go I-10 East, I-10 West. And then my brother called me. And I had so much anger towards a lot of stuff that had transpired between him and I. And so I unloaded on him. And then of
years worth, me imagino. Not recent stuff, right?
Yeah. Okay. Lifetime.
Still recording, must say.
Yeah. So then I realized it wasn't about this other person. Like, it was a lot of other stuff.
It wasn't the work thing. It was more.
Okay. And then that day I went to a bar frequent, and I saw an individual that, you know, I had some, and it was cowardly of me. But I had a lot of anger towards this person, and it escalated, and it shouldn't have. And
all this sober, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
All this sober, bro, but it's just, again, all these emotions were always there, man. It's just, I was drinking, and it would just, I would forget, bro. I'd get.
And it's funny how, like, even with a transplant, like, yo pienso, again, muy mal, that everything resets. Now, everything's new.
It does.
Your alcohol problem, also your mental issue. If you had an issue with somebody, you don't, but then you're saying that they came back. That's what I'm hearing, no? Because it didn't reset. Because if it did reset,
yeah, I think it was being numbed.
Okay.
Man. And for a long time, my mom would tell me, because I don't know where we heard this. We did hear it, that maybe the way I acted would change. And doctors had told me, like, there's a possibility that you need to be very careful with, just kind of just keep tabs on your emotion.
Okay.
And they said, because you have somebody else's, like, it's a foreign...
Because it's chemically, no más because you went through this process, but also chemically.
There's a lot of other stuff that goes into it, man.
Okay.
And I'm not saying, like, I mean, it would be easy to say, oh, this person was in jail, so they're probably violent, so that's, you know, but it wasn't that. It was just raw emotion that I had felt, man. And so
then your brother calls you, you go off.
Yeah.
Y luego?
And then I went to a bar and I saw this person. I went off again. And then I went off on my girlfriend at the time. And
on a scale from, and I'm sorry for interrupting you, I really want to understand, like,
99.
I went off, no quiero decir nomás le grité. Yes.
All right, okay. But the way I articulate myself might change, okay? And
Go for it.
You may not be used to it, but look, this is what happened. If I'm being real. All right, so all that shit happened, right? Thing with my brother, you know, whatever. All of it was because I was just, I don't know if it was projected anger that I was mad at myself or whatever the case might be, okay? There was a point where I felt like going back to acá en las rifas, you know, going back to people not even giving a crap about the stuff that you're going to.
Did you have a lot of resentment?
I did.
Of things, of people that failed you when you needed them?
No. I just felt like, look, just because of my character doesn't mean that I don't know or I didn't see the things that you did or that I didn't agree with. And now I want to let you know how I feel about them. And you got to understand, like, my character at before, and there's some people that are going to see this and be like, well, you know, like, he was or he is, like, I'm used to seeing Erik in this way and he's this way and now, and it just wasn't matching. And there was a lot of me looking and searching for my character at the time. So I went off, bro. Let me just tell you what I told. I told a lot of people I was going to kill him. And the cops got involved.
Including your girlfriend?
Yeah, including.
Okay. In that, I don't know if it's easy to go back, but in ese momento, how serious were you with those threats? Because, again, si yo te digo, te voy a matar, I'm 0 serious, right? But at that moment, like, espérate, I'm like, I know you're upset right now, but how serious were you? Like, was there ever a moment that you were going to kill those people, basically?
No.
Okay, but so look at the case.
But I think that what I was scared of was that there was emotion tied to it. Okay, and so I just when there's emotion tied to it, like you don't care. And so I think being at the face of death changed a lot of things for me, to where I've seen it. I know what it looks like. Like, it almost took me, and like, it's not that I don't fear it. I still fear it, but I'm a little bit numb to it now. Like, I've accepted it. I think at one point, it's like being born again. Like, okay, yeah, I'm born again, but like, I'm back where I'm at. And I'll tell you exactly where, like, what happened and what scene. Like, Hector always tells me, like, you play these scenes out from movies that you watch. Like, you think you're in your own movie. And I agree with him. But, like, I love The Sopranos. Love The Sopranos. And I remember Tony Soprano had a similar experience where he almost died. And it's actually a season, like, it's a whole season where, like, he's going in and out of, like, consciousness, and like half of the episode is him being, like, in the hospital dying, and half of the episode is him having these, like, dreams of him dying and going to heaven. And you know, he comes back and he survives. And the first thing that he does, or one of the first things, is se madrea un vato that's bigger than him or whatever. He's weak, but he did it because he wanted to show himself that he still could. And I think for myself, there was a lot of things that I wanted to see. Well, what do I have? Let me see what you got. Let's see.
Is it because, help me understand, you had nothing? I mean, you already had accepted your death.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah, that was a big reason.
Like, a little bit of,
like, what's up, dude?
Yeah.
Like, I almost died. You think you scare me, bro? You don't scare me. And here's your verdad. And that's when I started to notice that a lot of people started to separate themselves from me, bro. is because they finally said, like, this dude should have nothing to lose because he had another chance, but I don't know, he doesn't really, I mean, have a lot to lose, but I do. But at the same time, like, that's why I think a lot of the stuff changed. Like, when you see me, like, I didn't really cuss on social media because I was representing, you know, my interests. But now I'm like, oh, fuck you, you know, whatever. Does it make me feel better? You know, one of my therapists once told me that even if you're getting something out of it, bro, even if you're talking all this smack, like, at the end of the day, you say, like, oh, man, like, you know, these people don't even te pelan or whatever. That person's still getting something out of it. If not, they wouldn't be doing it. Either it's to remind them that, oh, there's haters out there. You got to also think, man, there's an algorithm that's feeding into them, bro. Like, it's weird, man. Like, the stuff that I'm talking about right now, like, Mike Tyson never used to come up in my Facebook feed. Like, Mike Tyson comes up, the baby comes up, like, people that talk about violence. And so, like, I'm seeing these quotes, like the quote you shared with me today about all these haters, but I'm not seeing hater quotes, man. I'm seeing quotes about, what's up, Kevin Gates, like, anger, like, you did me wrong, I'm gonna fuck you up. Like, that's feeding into me, and I'm like, fuck this, cool, you know what? And that's why you get the stupid stuff that you get from me, and I'm not proud of it, man. I'm not.
So let's go back to the episode. So the cops get involved, right? Te pierdes, from my understanding of the story, te pierdes un radio. ¿Quién sabe cuánto tiempo? Because I don't remember like the story. Te llevan. Is it a hospital? What is it? Donde?
Yeah, they took me to a.
Were you arrested or they sent you directly to the? Is it a hospital? ¿Qué es?
It's a mental hospital.
It's a mental hospital, right?
So. I made a lot of threats. To a lot of people that I probably shouldn't have, that aren't my friends or whatever. I started saying a lot of dumb stuff. And so they were very, very, very specific about me going what's called inpatient. But the question that they always pose is, are you going to hurt somebody or are you going to hurt yourself? And I didn't feel like I was going to hurt myself. And I definitely didn't feel like I was going to hurt other people. But then I would go back home, like, they would let me go. And then I'd go off, bro.
O sea, esto pasó more than once.
Yeah, like 3 times.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking like one episode.
No. It was 3 in the course of like 24 hours.
Oh, okay. So they sent you home, güey, ya cálmate.
Y no me calmé.
Okay. And same thing. Okay. After the third time que ya te llevan al hospital, like, what happens? Or what happened there?
So a very close friend of mine came to my house.
No, Mr. Lopez?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
And he tells me, I've never seen him like this. And he tells me, I talk to him every day. I mean, I put a lot on that dude, man. I shouldn't, but I never seen him like that, man.
Upset, sad.
There's a lot of stuff that me and Hector have shared amongst each other, to where I know a little bit of the history of his trauma. And he brought that up, and he said, look, man, like, I can't help you, and I know the trauma that's caused in his life. And I love him to the point where I finally said, like, I'm not going because I think I have a problem. I'm going because you're asking me. And this is outside of me drinking. Like, I still have an alcoholic mindset, you know, and I don't want to blame it on that. Like,
what is an alcoholic mindset?
I think an alcoholic mindset is just one of which judgment gets clouded. I think that's what a lot of alcohol does, man, is that you drink, and then your judgment gets clouded. Now, you may say you're not drinking, so how can that happen to you? This is my response to you. My body was used to 22 years of just thinking in a certain fashion because of alcohol and being a certain way because of alcohol. And when you don't have the chemicals that I don't know, were interacting with whatever receptors to calm you down, then the alcoholic mindset sets in, bro. Like they say, one is one too many, two more is never enough. You just go on these tangents and these rabbit holes. Some people, man, and that's what happened to me, bro. I just got into a place where I didn't have that substance. When I got scared, let me tell you, I did get scared, bro. I contemplated stopping at a bar and drinking, man.
How long ago? Or
that day?
That day que fue Hector? Or
what day? But he had gone later on in the day. Okay. But before that, because we were going to play golf, and I couldn't even find the golf course, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that's how much anxiety that I had. And
so that day you were thinking of drinking?
Yes. I was like, nobody knows me out in Horizon. Like, wow, where's the bar? Like, let's do it. And that's when I started to get real scared, man.
What were you scared of? Of doing it and dying? Of you failing other people? What were you scared of?
Failing everybody, bro. Failing the person that gave me the liver. Failing everybody that believed in me. Failing my mom, bro. Failing my kids, bro. I made a promise to my son. I mean, the impacts, okay, we've talked about the impacts to me, bro. Like, my son has told me, like, he has dreams of me drinking, bro. He's 8, he's 9, you know? Going back and him telling him that I drank, bro, like, I felt like the biggest piece of shit in the world, man. And I think all that pressure, bro, just led to me just exploding. And so I did go in, man. And even then, I was kind of reluctant. What?
How many weeks, how many days? ¿Qué te dijeron?
I was there for 11 days, bro.
Okay. Did they help you calm down first? Or like,
bro. That's why I'm talking. There's a lot of resources in the city, bro, that a lot of people may not know about. I think there's a stigma that people will say, like, oh, you go there, so you must be crazy, bro. But, yeah, I mean, yeah, we're all a little bit crazy, me included. I mean, forget we all. But when I got in there, bro, I was still like, I was mad, bro. And you got a reality check. It's not like jail, bro. But there's some people that are.
This is March, April.
This is March.
Okay.
And so I went into the most intensive unit because of my actions in there as well. So the nonsense didn't stop.
They didn't stop there.
No, I went on for a couple of days until they stopped it. They put a stop to it.
What were your actions? Were you
in there?
Yeah.
Oh man.
¿Estás gritando lo tonto? Like what? Like no. Give me like paint a picture. Okay.
Fighting, jumping on tables, talking in tongues, probably like.
It's a little bit hard. I don't know if you have the answer, pero ¿por qué pasó esto? I know you had a lot of different things, right? Going and from what my understanding is a story, and I'm sure anybody listening, like they have a different understanding because of course we have a bias of whatever we think it's normal and what it's not, right? But I'm trying to understand like ¿por qué, güey? ¿Por qué pasó esto? Me puedes decir that I had this, and maybe you don't even know, but again, I don't know if there's even an answer, but I'm trying to see if now you can look back and say, this is why it happened. It won't, or you know what, it might, or this is something that I'm working on a daily basis for it not to happen again, for me to get, like, again, on that mode, if you want to call it that way. But I'm trying to kind of like know what happened, and if it was just a one-time incident, or if this is ongoing, if this is something that you battle on a daily basis, like that way. Of course, I'm not saying for you to feel happy and content 100%, no, but like that way that you're feeling for that period of time.
It still happens. I mean, I can give you examples about a couple of weeks ago how I've gone off, like, and I don't feel bad, man, because that's how I feel. I feel bad about the way that I go about it, bro, because I wasn't a man enough to do it the right way. And
are these thoughts that come?
No, these are things that have happened. And I'm give specific examples of when these people, to me, have jaded me. I mean, that's from my perspective. And I just handled it in a very immature way, bro. Like, looking back on it, like, that's not the way that I handled stuff before. But I don't know if we all get one mental breakdown in our life, or people have them daily or whatever, but I never just gone into a room and just screamed, bro. And that was my going into a room and screaming and saying, fuck, I'm pissed, you know?
What are you doing right now to try to avoid those?
Well, I'm still active in classes to really still explore like my emotions and things that, you know, that I'm dealing with on a daily basis. I think the good thing about it is that I talk daily about what happened openly. This is what happened, and I have people that hold me accountable and tell me, okay, yeah, well, now that you got that out of your system, what are you going to do about it? You know? And I tell you, like, at first, it's funny because when I came into thinking about what this was going to look like, I said to myself, nah, man, like, I don't want to focus on my story. I want to focus on, look, this is what can happen if you drink. But like to your point, like, there has to be some color around it, especially the things that happen after. Because I thought once I got this liver, once I'm not drinking, like, I'm good. I'm going to go out and I'm going to conquer the world. No, that's not how it works. I think about drinking every single day.
About wanting to drink.
I don't want to necessarily say that I want to drink, but there's a romantic relationship that I think we take on with alcohol, bro. It's a very toxic relationship. Like, again, like, I'm looking at this thing still right now and I'm like, still looking good. You know, it just reminds you of so many times, bro. And I think this is a good segue, bro, to remind you of what the reality of the disease looks like. So I got a letter that I told you, and it just reminded me of what I really should be focused on. And that is my sobriety, man. Because all this other stuff, man, that's going on, it's not gonna fix me and what the demon that I have to slay, bro. And I think you'll understand why when I start kind of sharing it with you. Because for a long time I said, okay, cool. Like, I was like you said, checking that list, like, cool, done with this, done with this person, cool, I'm done with this, archive. I don't know, I want to say you've heard me, but you probably haven't, but I've talked a lot about archiving pieces of my life because I'm just done with them. I haven't archived the bar piece of it, but I think that I'm trying really, really hard. And, you know, those are just things that come with the territory, man, that you have to continue to realize that it isn't over, man, that this is something that you have to fight every single day, bro.
What will you tell someone that is at the stage that they have not stopped, but they have recognized that there's a problem, a serious problem, that maybe, I don't know, at that point, at that time, looking back, you didn't hear, but you know what, maybe it needed to be said a different way? What will you tell that person that knows that has a drinking problem, and for some reason they haven't decided to stop? Is there
let me ask you a question. Has that person identified the severity of their problem?
Going back to what we said at the beginning, in a way, like, como dices tú, I don't know, you called it the Mississippi rule. Like, yeah. In a way, you know, there's something wrong. But then I know other people that drink 7 days a week and I only drink 6. So I'm not that bad. Okay. But I know that drinking 6 days a week is bad. That example.
Well, what I say to them, I would really ask them to just take, you asked me to do this right now, and I think it gave me a very good perspective. Like, take you out of the equation, right? When you asked me to describe my mom, I think you have to take yourself really away from the relationship that you have with alcohol, because it is a relationship again. And you really have to take a step back and be honest with yourself and say, okay, at the end of the day, I'm the only one that knows if I have a beer or not. I went to Mexico. I'll give you an example. I went to Mexico 2 weeks ago. Nobody knows me in Mexico. Like, I could have pulled up in a bar, drank, and then come out here and advocated for this. But I choose not to, because I really, really think that, like, that type of thinking would put me back where I was. I know a person, man, like I say, all these stories come out. there's a story that I was told. I don't know if it's true or not, but I do believe it. And there was this individual that was put on the list and got a liver transplant. Okay. This person was pretty well off. And they got another liver. And they fucked up that liver.
They got
2.
Okay.
And the second one they kind of got because of their connections, bro. And to me, that person never probably really never stopped and thought about all the sacrifices that have to go into that, and all the things and all the people that don't, because it's fucked up, man. Like, I don't even think insurances or whatever should be involved. Now, I've come to the realization, bro, if I wouldn't have had the insurance that I have, bro, I wouldn't be alive.
Like, I was gonna ask you that.
I'm not lucky in the sense of like, oh man, like I want no. And I mean, I know I put myself in the situation to have that type of insurance, right? But damn, that's crazy. I remember talking to some person, and I said, I guarantee you, man, if I had Obamacare, like I don't affordable spending, like I don't think I'd make it, bro. They would have made me comfortable.
I want to go back a little bit because, again, we're talking about alcohol, pero creo que that is, again, it's funny how I go on my trips, bro, de pensamiento. Yo también. And I always go like, bro, this is the same for everything. And what you just said about that self-awareness, I call it self-awareness. Mm-hmm. Understanding you, because I can almost guarantee you, for example, before you being an alcoholic, there was something off with you, mm-hmm. which led to that, right? And a lot of times we blame like just the immediate situation or the immediate our surroundings. For example, I'm drinking too much. That's the problem. But no way, you drinking too much is not the problem. Me hating on people is not the problem, like the root cause, right? Mm-hmm. Me not being able to keep a job, no way, that's not the problem de tu employer, de que tus hijos se enferman. No way, mm-hmm. it's something else. But I have, again, this is my opinion, like I do not know how someone can work on their self-awareness. ¿Sí me explico? La neta, I have so, like, almost every episode, somehow, some way, we talk about this. And yes, you can get perspective, because, again, I'm big on happiness. I'm big on being peaceful, right? And I think the perfect formula is having perspective and having self-awareness. Those two, there's no way, in my opinion, that you can be unhappy, right? Problem is perspective. You can get it by talking to other people, traveling, seeing countries like Cuba, Africa, like I haven't made. Mm-hmm. But then that self-awareness for it to really kick in of where you stand. Yeah. And again, going back to like, okay, if I can give some advice to someone that might help, it's that self-awareness you said, like understanding who you are. Pero digo yo, if you don't have it, can you develop it?
What I would do myself I don't know if, like from a professional aspect of it, the self-awareness for me was always really having a very non-ambiguous measurement of success. And what I meant by that is that, like, you can't, the scoreboard's the scoreboard, bro. Like, you can't run from that. The more of those type of things that you have in your life that are really telling you black and white that you're doing it or not, whether it be like maybe finances or whether it be like maybe the relationships that you have or whatever the case might be, like that should be the emotional inventory that you're taking to really determine if you have a problem or not. What I always do is I think, can I control it or can't I? And a lot of the stuff now is out of my control. So it's out of the realm that I'm used to operating in. What I should be doing, bro, is I should be controlling the things that I can control, which is my sobriety, me taking my meds, being a good dad, doing all that stuff. Like all that uncontrollable stuff. Like me telling somebody like F you, it ain't gonna change anything, you know? And I think that once you become self-aware that only at the end of the day you're the one that knows what you're putting in, I think that that's the only way to really build up that self-awareness, in my opinion, man.
Yeah, it's I don't have the answer. No creas que I don't have the answer. It's just that a lot of things, when you analyze like where people are coming from, it's just that, bro. That self-awareness. We're talking about.
You know, and I think with certain people too, it's not only just the lack of self-awareness, bro. It's the lack of empathy, bro, towards the other side. Like, I could very easily...
Wait, empathy comes from self-awareness?
No,
like,
I know.
For you to, like, show empathy, you need to, like, know where you stand.
But now you're getting granular. Like, you have to get granular if you really want self-awareness. Like, I look at it like a Madden video game, bro. And there's, like, certain ratings on speed, awareness, block shedding abilities, things like that, bro. I think you have to get that granular in your life. And I think for me... going back to, you know, the example that you're using, it comes from a lack of empathy, man. Yeah, man, I mean, there's so many opinions that I have of our government and like how our cities ran and stuff like that. But, you know, for me, I don't see the other end of the aspect, you know, which is the cause and effect, bro. And so, like, yeah, you can say like, oh yeah, like I don't agree with the tax rates or whatever the case might be. But then what about when you're on the other end of the spectrum, bro, and you do need that help, you know? I mean, we already talked about the fact that if I wouldn't have been part of the corporate world or structure, bro, that I don't know, man. Like, I probably need to do my homework and go back and see how many, you know, liver transplants, you know, have been afforded through Medicaid or Medicare. I don't know if there's a study for that, but, bro, like... I think to save my life, bro, was well over like 500,000, bro. I haven't even looked at the bills, honestly. I don't want to, bro, but it's a lot. It's a grip.
Nice. Déjate, we can stay on this subject, senor, for hours, yeah. And we're not gonna come up with a solution. It's just that when I have this type of conversations, like I appreciate you telling us, to opening up, being as honest as you are. Yeah. Pero like I would like something tangible for somebody. And even though you, like you said, like you have to put yourself out there, self-awareness, but I'm like, okay, can we still help out a little bit more and describe how you can get there if you're not there? Because there's a high chance that you're not there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's where I'm trying to get at. Like, how can I help someone? No más diciendo, okay, you need to exercise. That bottom line, you need to. But the fact is, okay, you need to start little by little or find out why you're not motivated. Simplemente, like, I'm trying to see if we can break it down into easier steps for it to have a higher chance of being successful.
I think this is an example of self-awareness, bro. Like, you could probably sit there and hear this if you're hearing it. I don't know, man. I asked you once, like, how do you measure your success? And you said it's not by likes. I remember that conversation, and you're right. And I think for myself, like, I didn't even know that you were screenshotting my stuff. Like, why?
No, just one, but
I get it. But what I'm saying is that, like, if I'm just going off of likes, like, I mean, sometimes you don't know who's seeing your stuff and not, man. And the point that I'm trying to say is that there's going to be a lot of people that are probably going to watch this, but not like it or comment or whatever. But they're going to go back and they're going to say, well, I mean, I guess I'm all right because this fool had a liver transplant and I'm not there yet. But are you? Like, are you for real?
Eso es lo que te quiero. Exactamente. That's the point that, okay, how can we make that person that there's a 99% chance nothing. First of all, that they hear this. Second is that they do take some action of reaching out to someone, you know what I mean?
You know what really, really, really frustrates me about, like, and I'm like I said, I'm an alcoholic, bro, so I should look at it. There's this myth in our city, bro, that you're forgiven for one DWI because you kind of are. Your record's expunged and you do certain things and it goes off. So like when I talk to alcoholics or like people that have like gotten in trouble with the law, like that's where I know that they don't have the self-awareness, because I'll be talking to them and then I'll be like, yeah, bro, like, you know, aren't you worried? Like, you got 2 DWIs. No, I got 1. Because the first one, it was like, who cares? Like, you got it, bro. Like, I know there's situations where we run into and, like, yeah, maybe the cop messed up that day or, you know, the breathalyzer wasn't, you know, but they stopped you for a reason, bro. It just wasn't because of whatever, bro. Like, and I didn't realize this until I was an Uber driver for a while. And I wouldn't drink, obviously. And so people would get in my car and I was sober. Bro, they smelled like straight mecánico, bro. Like, god damn. And I could see why cops pull you over and say you could smell, because you smell, bro.
Even I'm sure you had conversations with these people, like the stuff that I'm sure, like, ay, güey, yo también estoy hablando lo pendejo así.
Yeah, wow. And I've talked about, like, finances, bro, is another. I mean, you just look at things in your life, bro. Look at your relationships. Look at, do I have the relationship I want with my kids? And again, the answer to all that stuff may be yes. You know, in regards to that. And that's where this disease can get so ugly, is because you're functional.
Were your answer yes, though? Because something tells me, and if you can know, your answer was no. Like, something was off before, of course, like physically you were sick, right? Like,
yeah.
Antes de que tú digas, like, I can't, like, my bed is, no. Something was off, like, you didn't feel balanced emotionally in your relationships, at work, or something else.
There was a point.
Even before.
There was a point that I accepted it, that I said, I'm good at drinking. And so, like, I tried to convince myself that drinking didn't impact my ability to be a leader or be a dad or whatever. But I could have been so much better, bro. Like, I could have done so much. Like, I think I was operating maybe at a 30 to 35% capacity, man. And I think really when people sit down and take that emotional inventory, that inventory, and really looking themselves in the mirror, you'll start to find little gaps, bro.
Self-awareness. Mm-hmm. I believe that no sé cómo, hopefully someone tells me, no, wait, this is how you can develop it. But the one thing that I think that helps is that having, like, that close encounter with death, like an experience that, like, big, to really change the way you are. So my question goes to, like, the way you feel right now. You think that you would have got into this way of thinking, not feeling, but thinking, without that encounter that you had with death?
For me?
Yes.
No. That's how deep I was. But not everybody's as deep as I am. There's people that can potentially get that deep because they keep going down that road. But I don't think it has to get to the point that I got to for them to get help, bro. It's just, that's why you see all these shows, like, you know, about intervention, and, like, people running up on them, because it's a hope that something strikes them, like, brings them back to reality, that shakes them and says, like, this is what you're doing to people, you know? And for me, that never happened. And I'm not blaming those people. That's not their responsibility. But to me, it took getting that liver, man. There's this saying that I always, like, I remember, and it's like, okay, you're going to find out one way or another. Either you're going to find out on your own, or God's going to make you find out. But you choose which one. And unfortunately, I chose God, and he showed me what's up.
And I think the easier, or the word's not easier, pero I think the one that most of the time happens is that one way. You get hit on the face instead of you finding it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's unfortunate. Mm-hmm. That's why I was telling you, like, that's one of my goals with this. Like, at least one person. You said how I measure success. You know how I measure success? Wait, by uploading this thing. Yeah. Wait, when I go back and I edit, I see my face. I hear all the grammar mistakes. My wait, no sé una palabra en English. Like, I see that way. It's the word, like, the worst thing ever, way.
No, I know.
But he didn't submit, way. In the story that I tell myself, wait, that's chingón if you uploaded that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's the a lo mejor es yes, way.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things, because they're like, in your case, way, when you reach out, especially, like, on previous episodes, and say, hey, way, that was good, or like, you send me a message like, a la verga, like, I feel good way about that.
I remember one of your most popular ones, and I haven't gone back and seen the likes, but I remember obviously you having Johnny on was a big thing, man. And I remember I had just gotten out of inpatient, and it was like 4 days in, and my girlfriend Samantha at the time, I remember it was like 3 a.m, and she got up and she's like, what the fuck are you doing? And who the fuck's this guy? Like, I'm seeing your video, and I told him, yeah, like, Eli does a podcast. And then she geeked out because of Johnny Cage, like, oh shit. And that was her interest. But the point I'm trying to make is that those are little things, bro, that I just took from the episodes that you had. And I think it took me 3 hours, and I wrote all these notes. And I think I even sent Johnny Cage like a message, and I said like, hey, man, like, no comment. But I didn't know that, like, his upbringing, man. He talked about his grandma, bro, and he talked a little bit about being from the lower valley. And he talked a lot about, like, you know, his days and his upbringings and things like that, you know. And I have a homie that, like, loves Johnny Cage, man. And so to him, he watched the episode because of him. And, you know, to me, that's how serious I took your podcast, man. And that's why I kind of felt like I kind of hijacked my way on here, man. Like, I haven't done anything, bro. Like, don't think I'm nowhere near those individuals that you've had on here. But I know that you're going to find a lot of success in this city, bro. You're going to find a lot of entrepreneurs, which is great. But I think you're going to find individuals like myself that have really been through some struggles, man, that want to share their story to help other El Pasoans, man. Because, like I said, those stories about Johnny Cage going to Juarez and doing all that stuff, yeah, that's cool. But I bet there's another Roscoe. Because I know another person that tells me, I used to love getting fucked up in Juarez. And that's kind of where it started for me too, man. Like, that's where my binge drinking started. And I never stopped drinking like that.
Well, yeah, 100% with you. They go, and when I look for people like La Verdad now, because of their El Paso famous, it's, do I think I'm going to gain something, right, from them? My favorite episodes ways has been with Rick Ramirez, for example, the teacher of the year, El Vato, casi nada, like, you know, but like when you hear the passion, the things he does with some Butler, the comic that you watched that one, right? Like those ways, like when they're relatable stuff that people can like, wow, wait, and that makes all this, me fucking mispronouncing shit, way worth the upload, you know?
So, the one that talked most to me was you had a comedian on here, man.
Sam Butler,
It struck me one because I don't know, you don't know this, but I don't want to be a comedian, but there's material that I have, you know, and I write down like certain clips and I'll share them with Hector and like, but I never do them, but like, I think I'm a funny dude. So I started listening to it with that ear. But then this guy started talking about, like, stuff. And I'm like, damn, bro. Like, this dude's mean. Like, I remember he talked about, like, how he would go to strip clubs. I wouldn't go to strip clubs. Like, I've been to strip clubs, but I never, like, that wasn't my MO. My MO was going to bars, bro. I had the bartenders that, you know, I like to go see or whatever the case might be. Shout out to them. But it was just this repetitiveness, bro. Like, they are really good therapists, man. They'll hear you out, like you said. And what really transcended with me was when he talked about the giver being the giver and the taker being the taker, bro. Dude, till this day, I'm still like, that's the aha moment, bro, for me. Like, you're right, man. Givers will always give and takers will always take.
Yeah, and on that note, it's more also take care of yourself first before you take care of others, including your kids, way. Including your kids. And I see this all the time, way. Con papás que they're super busy, soccer practice con todo, way, and you see how me parece lo mejor. But, you know, there's a high chance, way, that they're doing that to mask that they're not happy with their own life. And this is kind of like my outlet. This is me being a successful dad or mom. This is me being a successful person. But in reality, they're not, because they don't feel content with that. Te digo, that's just an example que yo me quedo así, bro, you have to be happy 100% with you before you can make others happy, including close family.
Honestly, man, I really think that the whole kids thing and the family thing and the lies that we tell ourselves, like, that's bullshit, man. There's many times that I put alcohol before my family, before work, before anything. And I know that, okay, substitute alcohol. There's many times I put work before my family and before myself, you know? And so it really is about being honest with yourself, man, and saying, like, okay, like, I'll tell you a story that broke my heart the other day, man. And it reminded me of why I made the decision also. Like, yeah, what happened that day was me saying I need help. And what truly happened was I just didn't have the time. Like, the liver took all the time that I was afforded to be out. And then that happened, bro, and I really needed help at the time. And so, I made a professional decision, man, that the help was more important than my career. And I stepped away from a pretty good career, man. But it was, I've never thought about it. I've never really even said, like, I was content. There was nothing else for me to prove. But the story that I want to tell, man, is my daughter's a cheerleader, bro. And I remember the other day, we took one of her friends home, and I often hear, like, the conversations. I don't know if you did that when your daughter was in high school. It's funny, the things that kids pinpoint, man. It's not money, man. It's not the things that we think that we're doing for them that they remember, bro. And this little girl, she made a comment to the effect of, like, my dad never picks me up from, like, cheerleading or something to that effect. And I get why. Like, I didn't say, oh, that's a messed up. Like, I don't know. I mean, this dude might have 2 jobs and, making ends meet and doing what he has to do. And me hearing that, like, automatically, I'm like, oh, that's messed up. I know there's more to the story. But I'm glad I can do that for my daughter. I'm glad that she'll be able to look back on that and say, like, my daughter, my dad, yeah, he might have been what he was, but he was always involved, and that's the way that I measure success now, bro.
Going into that subject, Senor, what's important for you right now? What are some other projects that you're working on, something aside from work and stuff like that, pero que dices tú, this is what my goal is? Of course, you sharing your story, of course, that tells me that you do want to have a positive influence on someone, but what else?
There's a lot of thought that I've given around. This is going to sound stupid, man, but...
Don't say that. There's no such thing. Ahorita que dijiste eso, te decía, no mames, no. Bro, but there's no such thing as that,
I know,
bro.
and I've heard you say that on this podcast, bro, but there's this song by Tim McGraw. It's called Live As You Were Dying. I don't know if you've ever heard it, bro. But he talks about how he was in his early 30s and, basically he was told that he had X amount of time to live. And as he's reflecting on the song, he says, I wish I would have done more of X, Y, and Z. And I think I'm doing more of that stuff, man. I find myself being very competitive and going back to a lot of the things that I used to do when I was a teenager, bro. If I would tell you what my day looks like, you'd be like, you're a child, bro. Like, let me tell you what my day looked like today, just so that you can understand the context of it. But there's humility, I think, around it, bro. So I woke up in the morning. I had breakfast. I went to therapy. I talked.
Is this physical therapy or
mental?
Okay.
So, we did our group. We talked. We did what we had to do. I made up with a friend, and we played darts, bro. So darts is like something that I'm getting into right now because of the competitiveness. So he's the only one I know that play darts. So I played darts with him. And then I went to another friend's house. We played Madden. And then I went to play golf. And we played golf. And then now I'm here. But the point I'm trying to make is that at least 4 times I was put in a position where it was me versus somebody else to kind of measure where I'm at. And I think that for me, the competitive nature of my life right now is where I want to be, bro. And it's all those things that song talks about, bro. Like, I wish I would have gone back and, like, skydived. I wish I would have traveled more. I wish I would have done this and that. And I think about it, it's dangerous too, bro, because, like, yeah, I only have 10 years to live. Yeah, like, that's cool and all. But it can get very dangerous too, bro, because that becomes the excuse now. Oh, well, I went to Paris when I only had like $1,000 to my name because you only live once, YOLO or whatever. So you got to think back on that. And yeah, you only live once, but, you got to think about, you got a life, you got responsibilities. But to answer your question right now, I'm just kind of working on the competitive nature. But I've started running again. I've started trying to build back my weight. And that's important, man.
Are you living day by day, or you, like, for the most part, of course, there's always a combination of everything, or it is something that you have a plan for the future and you're working step by step? Like, I'm just trying to understand, like, how you see the world right now, opposed to kind of like when you had the liver transplant. We talked about, oh my God, I want to do all the things I didn't do. But see, but even that train of thought, it's a negative one because you're not doing it, or whatever it is. So is it a balance of everything, or?
Kind of, man. I think with the liver story, or what I went through, the outreach piece of it, I think this is the last chapter of it, bro. Well, once you do what you're gonna do with it, that chapter's closed.
Why you want to close it down? Because I understand people that you don't want to be the person like tells, but you seems like you do want to be the person that someone reaches out to.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I want to be reached out to, but I don't want to do the outreaching. Because I don't want to run into those situations where someone's not ready to hear my story or anybody's story when they're going through their own struggles. I think for those individuals, I want them to know that there are resources out there. But I don't think that that's my audience. I think for me, my audience is more people that are trying, like, they're over all that. Like, they're showing up.
How can they find you?
They can just reach out to me. I mean, my Facebook.
But if you're not active,
how can they find me?
Yeah. Look at you, and this is something that I struggle with as well, because I don't like to be this.
I have an answer for that.
But tell me.
So I was talking to my therapist, bro, and like the thing that I love about her, bro, is that she does a very good job listening to your story and your bullshit, pretty much. And then she resets it and talks about, like, okay, well, let's talk about the story at hand. Okay. So that's what I love about her. So I was talking all this smack to her about, like, and then I don't like the fact that, like, just the story I told you, basically, I told her in this course of a month, right? And then she told me, all right, well, I mean, you have some good points, I guess. But, like, why are you, like, because I told her, like, I think I go to the bar because I want somebody to, like, reach out to me. And she's like, you don't need to do that. There's programs that you can be in that allow people to reach out to you. And I think you would be a resource to where you can talk about, like, the process of the liver transplant and what you went through in your addiction. And they can learn from that. And so I want to do more work around that, like maybe being a part of an AA group or whatever. A big part of why I haven't done that yet was I wanted to see if I could stay sober for at least a year. Now that I reached that milestone, I think I have a leg to stand on. The liver wasn't enough, bro. Even that wasn't enough for me. I had to go through it and live it and see what sobriety really looked like. And after the year, like, I know what that looks like and feels like. And this is what I want my life to look like. The sobriety aspect of it. I think the other stuff will work itself out.
I think I know the answer to this, but this has been a question that I ask every guest, right? And I think you have answered it several times, but I'm more interested in, like, the follow-up. And my question first of all is, are you the happiest person you know? And after that, do you know what you need to do to take you where you want to go?
So I don't want to answer a question with a story, but I was told I wasn't the happiest person, and I didn't believe that. And so this individual knows another individual that got a liver transplant and would tell me, like, this person's full of life, like, they're enjoying their life, they're doing all the things that they should be doing with a second chance. And then I think they went through a divorce, and it came back to reality. And I think that person was like, all right, cool, like, maybe there's a little bit more to this, like, happy ending. Maybe this fool isn't, like, taking, like, tripping, like, there is some truth to it. And that's what I would say, bro, in regards to that. Like, I know I'm not the happiest person because I still struggle with that. My actions show you I'm not the happiest person. But in terms of my life and being content with who I am right now, like,
or at least the path that you're on.
I know I'm the most content that I've been in a long time, bro. Like, I'm okay. Like, I used to hate people walking out of my life, bro. Like, I couldn't take it. Like, right now, you told me about, the person that you told me, like, all right, cool. Like, I'll get in my truck, I'll go home, I'll go to sleep. It is what it is. And I'm sure they'll do the same thing, and their life will go on, and mine will. For a long time, bro, like, I don't know what I would think. Like, I would think that I was going to get struck by bad luck. And you know what? The funny thing, dude, is when you're going through all this, not once did I ever think, oh, man, this liver transplant happened to me because I didn't help that old lady cross the street. Like, not once. But we tell ourselves all this stuff like, I'm going to do this because God's going to pay it back, or, because I want to be a good person, and that showcases that I'm a good person now. Because at the end of the day, when you're there laying down there, you're not thinking of that stuff, bro. You're not thinking about all the bad that you did. Because your focus is getting better and living life and doing all that stuff, bro. So, I mean, I don't know if that answers your question, but that was
it does. And again, this is my opinion, that you do find, like, for example, that path that you're going towards, like, you do find it easier or better once you start helping people.
Yeah.
To go to that path as well.
For sure.
Now the challenge is like finding the people that are ready to be there or are asking for it, instead of you reaching out, like we talked about.
And the hard part about it, really, Eli, too, is this disease and any disease and any addiction, bro, there's no absolute to it, bro. Like, one of the things that would frustrate me at first is when people would tell me I'm trying to kick drinking. Because to me, I never tried to kick it. And then this happened, and it took that for me to kick it. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And when a person says I'm trying, like, I don't have the capacity to understand that. But them trying is them trying. That's how simple I can put it. Like, at least that person's trying, bro. At least that person's, like, listening to a lecture around why you shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that haven't even taken that step, man. And it's sad, bro. Like, I do some real stupid shit. I don't know why. But, like, I'll circle the bar sometimes, and I'll see people, like, that I know coming out. And, like, they don't look well to me. And I'm like, damn, that was me. I'm like, should I tell them something? I don't, but I don't know. I don't know if that's the lanyard I want to wear or what.
Yeah, and that's where you're in the middle between, like, I want to help them out, right? Because of course, I want them to get better, but then that that's not your place, right? Mm. Senor, that letter that you're going to read as we close the episode, are you going to read it?
Yeah.
Tell us what this letter is, please.
So it's a letter that I received a couple weeks ago, man, and it's actually from my addiction, bro. And again, it kind of reminds me, bro, of the foolishness that we tell ourselves. Before I tell you this, man, there was about a month ago that, and I hope you talk about this in your podcast, or maybe you could just mention it, or at least put this clip in it. Like, you've seen me turn and look at these two bottles, like, all day, right? And it feels like I'm talking to it, bro. But, I mean, it's an object. I'm looking at it. It is what it is, bro. The point I'm trying to make is that I started feeling bad for alcohol, bro. To the point where I was like, you know what? Like, yeah, it cost me a liver, but, like, it was there for me, bro, when I needed it. Like, when I was going through my shit, bro, like, it was my only friend. Like, I miss him, or her, or whatever. And then I got this letter, bro. And I was reminded on how much it didn't miss me, bro. And I was like, I think that was the part that made me feel like, damn, bro, like fuck alcohol, bro. So I'll read it to you, bro. All right. It says, a letter from our disease. Hello, just in case you forgot me, I'm your disease. I hate meetings, I hate higher powers. I hate your program. To all who come in contact with me, I wish you suffering and I wish you death. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the disease of addiction. I'm cunning, baffling, and powerful. That's me. I've killed millions, and I'm pleased. I love to catch you with the element of surprise. I love pretending I'm your friend and lover. I have given you comfort, haven't I? Wasn't I there when you were lonely? When you wanted to die? Didn't you call me? I was there. I love to make you hurt. I love to make you cry. Better yet, I love to make you so numb that you can neither hurt nor cry. When you can't feel anything at all, that's my true gratification. And all that I ask from you is long-term suffering. I've been there for you always. When things weren't going right in your life, you invited me. You said you didn't deserve these good things, and I was the only one who would agree with you. Together, we were able to destroy all the good things. The only one would agree with you. Together, we were able to destroy all the good things in your life. People don't take me seriously. They take strokes seriously, heart attacks, even diabetes. They take all these things seriously. Fools. Without my help, these things would not be possible. I'm such a hated disease, and yet I do come uninvited. You chose to have me. So many have chosen me over reality and peace. More than you hate me, I hate all of your higher powers, your 12 steps programs, your program, your meetings, all that. All these things weaken me, and I can't function in the manner I'm accustomed to. Now I must lay here quietly. You don't see me, but I'm growing bigger than ever. When you only exist, I can live. When you live, I may only exist, but I'm here, waiting. And until we meet again, if we meet again, I wish you nothing but suffering and death. And that just reminded me, bro, that like...
You wrote that?
No, I didn't write that shit.
Oh.
My disease wrote that, bro. You know, and it just reminds me, bro, that it's out there, bro. It's waiting for me to fuck up, bro. It's waiting for me to mess up. And it's going to be here and it's going to say, "Oh, friend, how you been, bro?" And I don't want to get there, bro.
Wait, that was deep. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow. 100%.
Yeah.
On point. ¿Qué más, señor? ¿Qué más nos falta?
That's it, man. I just want to thank you, Eli. Like I said, bro, I didn't mean to hijack your show, man. I want you to know, you asked me in the beginning, like, what was one of the things that I thought about? I thought about this moment right here, man. This moment, sitting down with you. Because as I walk out of here right now, bro, I'm not going to say that I made it, because I didn't, bro. But I know that at least I could tell a story. You know
you're helping someone. Right?
Yeah.
That's it.
And as I walk away, bro, I know that I hopefully can help a lot of other people, man. And, you know, hopefully people reach out to me or to reach out to a program that's here, man. Like, I mean, there's help out there. I'm a perfect resource, man. I don't care. I answer my messages. Like, I'm not going to leave somebody out there, bro. But, you know, it's a tough ball game out there, man. And all we can do is try, bro, every single day.
Oh, and I want to thank you for this. To be honest with you, I was telling you the reason why I stopped recording the episodes and that I'm going to be traveling. So kind of like I have this on pause. Mm-hmm. But wait, this is, and it gives me so much satisfaction knowing that one person, they're going to hear the whole thing, but one thing que se van a quedar, and that one thing might be the cause of positive action. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
So by you sharing it, like, I want to thank you. I do want to encourage you, like, if again, this is just my recommendation, my opinion, is that, of course, the going to bars looking to help someone, I creo que también, it doesn't make sense. But if you can be a loud voice away, because first of all, you can articulate your thoughts really well. And again, by the way, we didn't give context, but Erik was kind of like my first supervisor when I started working where I'm at. Tú sabes, you know, I try not to lie. Mm-hmm. Wait, you were like, at that moment, like, this is a really great leader. And it is true. They do shape you, right? Yeah. And I think you do have that capability to help others. Mm-hmm. And again, the challenge is, síguele, because there will be some, and again, Justin Castillo, like, comes to mind as far as, like, him trying to help, like, his own depression, anxiety, all that, to through helping others.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. It's just the moment of not giving up when no one's hearing you.
Yeah.
Like, that's the challenge.
I know, man. And I think part of the outburst and part of the post and all that was just for the shock factor, man. Now this is what I really got to say, man. This is where I think people have to realize, like, this isn't a game, man. Like, it isn't a game. And I hope, bro, there wasn't another person in this world, bro, that would ever die or succumb to DWIs or, you know, liver or, you know, domestic violence or whatever this disease or this addiction comes with, bro. But we know it's going to happen, bro. We know it's not going to stop. Like, me living didn't stop that. And I know there's people out there that need help, man, and I'm here for that. That part I know, like you said, that piece of where we were pretty much raised, man. Because I mean, my career spans about 16 to 17 years. Like, we are shaped like that. Like, this morning when I thought about, like, I didn't have to write any of this on paper because I've been doing it for 16 years. Like, I already knew like how to talk in bullet points, and I know I went on tangents and stuff, but like, I know that I can articulate the message that I want to get out there. And I think a lot of people are going to be shocked because there's a couple words that they are used to me using that I didn't say. And they're going to be like, well, what happened to the dude that's like, hey, what's up, cuh? Or let's listen to the baby, or like Young Dolph or whatever. Like, there's going to be, they don't know me the way you know me, you know? And I think for me, a lot of that anger that I was showing was like my frustration on telling people, like, okay, yeah, like, take that out of context. Like, there was a time, you know, but forget that time, forget what happened, whatever the case might be. We're here now. If I could just, like I said, help one person, man, I think I won. And, you know, in the background, some of the stuff that we do, that I want to do with it, you know, we have a very close friend that I play golf with today, and he's pretty pumped up about something.
Have you seen how he has changed? I'm not gonna call it recently, but it seems to me, like, looking from the outside, like, he is a little bit more content, like, happy, satisfied overall, and that makes me happy enough. But I don't know why am I talking about that, but now that we're talking about it,
yeah,
it's crazy how everyone has their own path. As long as you follow it towards a positive, happy place, you're good to go.
Yeah, I think so, man. I think so.
But bueno, that's all I have. Thank you so much, Erik, again. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Adios.